Oscars beginning in Douluo. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176. The Insatiable Azure Bull Python. The eyes of King Shenenyu Python damning made Oscar think to himself, fuck, the toad wants to eat swan meat. This is my dish. This dude actually likes my dish. This is your unkindness first, so don't blame me for being unrighteous. The little colorful scale wrapped around Oscar's arm looked at the two spirit beasts in front of him in horror. The aura emanating from these two spirit beasts was too strong. If her master hadn't told her to come out, she would never have come out. Yes, even now she also has the idea of wanting to return to the animal pet space. Especially the boa constrictor with horns is even more frightening to look at. His eyes make Xiao Kailin feel as if her body has been seen through. Of course, anyone or any beast can see through her because she is only a soul beast. Who has ever seen a soul beast wearing a suit of clothes? But this day King Niu Bog gave her a different feeling. He was a bastard who fell in love with Mung Bean. He saw it right. If there is no such master as Oscar, the King Shen Bull Python might be the most suitable beast she has ever seen to be a husband. But now with the existence of the master, how can she accept the King Shen Bull Python? Master, he wants to turn me into a human, and then that. So, in order to avoid suspicion, and afraid of arousing the jealousy in Oscar's heart, Xiao Kailin decided to go to the animal pet space, so she communicated with her master Oscar to express her idea of going back. Oscar was very satisfied with Xiao Kailin's idea, and he didn't blame me for hurting Xiao Kailin. But Oscar prevented Xiao Kailin from going back, because this was an opportunity, a chance to complete the task. Then Oscar shared his inhuman thoughts with Xiao Kailin. After hearing this, little Kailin realized once again how much her master didn't want Billion. He was really a beast. Little Kailin blinked her small eyes on Oscar's arm and stared at the big blue sky bull python covering the sky. In Daming's eyes, she was expressing love to him. Daming originally wanted to scold the spirit beast that didn't want Billion to worship others as its master, but when he saw Xiao Kailin's appearance, his violent thought of scolding suddenly disappeared. When he saw Xiao Kailin's appearance, he was attracted by Xiao Kailin's appearance. From his perspective, Xiao Kailin was a peerless beauty. You look at the perfect lines, you look at the beautiful colors, you look at the colorful skin, and you look at the blinking eyes. It's so attractive. Love me that spitting letter. I really want to entangle with her. I have lived for so long, and have never seen such a beautiful python. There is also the aura exuding from her body. Although this aura is a little weak, it is a queen fan. The mighty Emperor Sky Blue Bull Python in the Stardao Great Forest is in heat at this moment. His big mouth is open and greedy saliva is flowing out. Patapata non-stop. In Xiao Kailin's eyes, this is really disgusting. Such a big and prestigious soul beast. It's too embarrassing to show this appearance. Not only did Xiao Kailin feel ashamed, but both Oscar and Xiao Wu also felt a little out of place. Is this still the emperor who is so imposing and domineering? As for the erming titan giant ape who stood aside and watched the excitement, he also felt very ashamed. This big brother's face was shattered to the ground. It doesn't matter if he is broken to the ground. It also lost my face. He is the big brother. The big brother is like this. How can the little brother be better? King Shenenyu Bog Daming said excitedly. Chilly brother-in-law Oscar, is this your animal pet? It really is as different as I thought. Extraordinary, beautiful, radiant, and delicious. Oscar rolled his eyes. This day the blue bull python really deserves to be a soul beast that has lived for so long. This cheek is really thick. Is this really what you think it is? And Oscar is sure that Daming definitely used all the praise words accumulated over the years. Didn't he see that he used all the beautiful and delicious words in the end? He also didn't think about his current appearance and size, and he was so attractive, so he wanted to eat Xiao Kailin. Daming blinked his eyes and said pitifully, brother-in-law Oscar, can you make her bigger, a little bit bigger, just about my age? Lost. I'm a big-headed ghost to you. You are trying to learn from the overlord. Before Oscar could answer him, Xiao Wu at the side stepped forward and said to Daming, Daming, what do you want? Do you want to bully Xiao Kailin? If you dare to bully Xiao Kailin, Xiao Wu will never let you go. Xiao Wu's small face was full of anger, and she was very angry when she pointed at Daming's huge body. Little Kailin is not only her big brother's soul beast, but also her soul beast. Xiao Kailin is usually so obedient. Of course she has to protect Xiao Kailin. Daming said very seriously, "Miss Xiao Wu, I just want to see how she looks bigger. I feel that the aura emanating from her body makes me want to stop." How much it takes Billion to say these words. This makes even the thick-skinned Oscar feel ashamed. It seems that I have learned another trick. The next time I see a beautiful woman, just say that the smell on your body makes me want to stop. Can you push Pei-Gao with me late at night? Not to mention how angry Oscar was, but even the giant ape titan felt ashamed and covered his face with his two big hands. Xiao Wu's face turned red with anger. She was very dissatisfied with her little brother. This is too straightforward. Is it good if the little colored scale becomes bigger? Daming also felt that what he said seemed to mean something wrong, so he hurriedly explained, "That little dancer, I didn't mean what you think. What I mean is that there is something on this 6-color swallowing python that makes me feel very even. I feel a little inferior to the temperament of the superior. I say this, do you understand? So I want to make her look bigger, so that it can be more obvious." Oscar and Xiao Wu nodded to each other, but they still couldn't believe it in their hearts, because the greedy eyes he showed just now were too real, and he couldn't explain it no matter what. However, they were also a little curious about the aura that Daming said could make even the Qingshan bull python, the emperor of the great Stardow forest, feel inferior. What exactly is this? Therefore, Oscar couldn't help being curious and enlarged the little Kailin, and the little Kailin's body grew up to the same size as the Qingshan bull python in an instant. Her scales that look like fish scales exude different colors of light. There are 5 colors of this light, and there is a different dark red light on the snake's head of the small colorful scale. This light makes her temperament suddenly improve. Grade, standing there exudes an indescribable aura. That aura is like she is the emperor of the Stardow Great Forest. It can't compare to the Qingshan NIU python. Thanks to the 527 book coins rewarded by the 20,100 boss, the little girl is so excited that she can't speak. "Please tell me what's the big brother." The little girl will definitely be satisfied. Once again, I would like to thank the Happy Boss and the Forgotten Time Boss for awarding the little girl. Because of your little girl, I'm full of motivation. Hee hee hee. End of this chapter. Chapter 177. Kick Tang Heo in the ass. Of course, this is also because the sky blue bull python deliberately didn't emit his unique imperial aura. Otherwise, how could his majestic 10-year-old soul beast be really suppressed by the 10,000-year-old soul beast? It's like digging your ears out of fear of your wife. You're very good outside, and you'll be obedient as soon as you see your wife point, and Daming is in this state now. Such a beautiful woman, you still exude temperament to suppress her. Isn't that a waste of money? Xiao Kailin stared at the sky blue bull python who was the same height as her in front of her. There was fear in her eyes, because the strength of the sky blue bull python was there. Although he hid his temperament, even if he took off his vest, he would. Kailin also knew him, and this majestic forest emperor actually pretended to be cute in front of her. This is really abnormal. This feeling makes Xiao Kailin very uncomfortable, so she leans her head back unknowingly. Her red eyes as big as lanterns are also blinking. Even her letter is nervous spit non-stop. In Daming's eyes, she looks shy and cute. There was a bit of charm in the cuteness, and the primitive ambition suddenly burned, and his big bull's head rubbed against the little Kailin's body. Little Kailin's eyes widened rapidly. Didn't they agree to observe some aura? This guy's actually deceiving people and put them together. Although the Titan giant ape has been covering his head with his hands, his eyes have never been closed. He has been secretly watching him, not wanting Billion's big brother. He is very afraid that what his big brother will do will hurt them. Majestic thing. Didn't he see with his own eyes that his elder brother didn't want Billion to rub her head against the little snake? If this really happened, not to mention Miss Xiao Wu and the others getting angry, even their face would be completely humiliated. From now on, the Stardow Great Forest will definitely spread the legend that they are different. That is, the two emperors both like beauty and like to rule their own subordinates. If this is true, then their face will not be wanted in the future. So he stepped hard and quickly jumped in front of the Azure bull python and grabbed his elder brother's bull horns with his two big hands. When Daming was caught by Erming like this, he suddenly came to his senses and realized that it was indeed a little too much just now. But I have endured it for 10 years. What the hell is it for me to pester me? This still stops me. But although he thinks so in his heart, he won't really say it. Didn't you see the murderous look in brother-in-law Oscar's eyes? And Miss Xiaowu also despised him very much. So he said to the Titan giant ape hanging in the air and holding his horn with a serious face, "Second brother, what are you doing? My horn is not a parallel bar. If you want to perform, go find the big tree over there and the big tree over there. The tree is very elastic and soft enough to fly far." Titan giant ape blinked his eyes. "What does this mean?" Xingshi asked the crime, the wicked first to sue, a wise one. The expression of the Titan great ape is very innocent. "Don't you know what you did? Second brother, I want to take a closer look at the horns on her head." "Why are you so excited?" Daming said righteously. "Huh?" Erming said awkwardly. "You are a bad old man. You are very bad. How can I believe your words anymore? If I hadn't believed in you just now, you would almost have stumbled into eternal hatred. And if I believed in you again, you would have stumbled into an old python." But Erming still couldn't help but turn his head and look at Xiao Kailin's head. "Love me, it really has horns." This excuse is very biu. No, it's really Leo Wang selling melons, selling them now and catching them now. The horns on Xiao Kailin's head became bigger because of her body, although the horns are still small compared to Xiao Kailin's current big head. But it is undeniable that the horns are bigger now than Oscar is bigger than the whole person. The Titan giant ape looked at his big brother's clear eyes and believed him again. After the Titan giant ape released his hand, the Qingshan bull python carefully looked at Xiao Kailin. His big eyes stared straight at Xiao Kailin. His eyes are now cross-eyed. "Wow, this python girl, the more you look, the more beautiful it is. It's a pity not to be my queen." Cough. The giant ape titan coughed loudly beside him. Because of his second child's reminder, Daming looked at Xiao Kailin's horn. "The aura emanating from this horn is the aura of a superior person," he said. "There are two horns, and the two horns have the same shape. It looks like antlers, but the only difference between this horn and antlers is that each tip of this horn is pointed, which looks very sharp." "Fuck, is this a dragon's horn?" Qingshan Yuban shouted in surprise. "Dragon horn?" Oscar asked suspiciously. Although Oscar felt that little Kailin's horn looked a bit like a dragon's horn, he didn't think it was a dragon's horn because the horn had originally grown on little Kailin's body. If it was a dragon's horn, how could it grow on her body? "Woolen cloth." Daming said in surprise again. "Brother-in-law Oscar, this little Kailin actually has the blood of a dragon." "Dragon's blood?" Oscar was very puzzled. "Do dragons still exist in Douluo continent?" "That's right. Duke Long's walking stick has dragons, so it's normal to have dragons." Daming nodded his big bull head and said, "Yes, dragons are just legendary creatures, and I have never seen them, but what I know is that I have this kind of blood in me, but it is very weak, and when I saw it, when I was little Kailin, I felt that the blood in her body was stronger than mine, and it was much stronger. If it wasn't because she was not as strong as me, I would never have been able to stand on the ground just now, and when I saw her head I knew, when the horn was on, her horn must be a dragon's horn." Oscar thought to himself, "Love me, little Kailin actually has the blood of the dragon clan, so does that mean that one day in the future, she can become a colorful dragon? The 7-colored dragon is my woman. This seems a bit tall." "Oh ho 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 happy. Does that mean that little Kailin will grow into a dragon in the future?" Oscar asked. Daming sighed slightly. "Maybe I can. Even I have a little chance to become a dragon, but that little bit is negligible. Although her bloodline is stronger than mine, but if she wants to become a dragon, the chance is just as small. Looking for a needle in a haystack, the chances are slim." Oscar listened to Daming's words, but he was very happy in his heart. Although this opportunity is very slim for others, but for me who owns the system, isn't it a piece of cake? Didn't you see that the mission of increasing the small color scale's lifespan has been released? As long as I scold Ju and GUI, the two titled Douluo, I can grow 1 years. So if I kick Tang Heo's ass hard, will it make Xiao Kailin evolve into a dragon? Ha 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 ha. Ding. Congratulations to the host for triggering the task of transforming into a dragon with small colorful scales. Kick Aozhou Douluo Tang Hao hard in the ass. Remember to kick hard. Mission reward. Little Kaylin grows dragon claws. Lying down a big flowers and trees. Excitement. Trembling hands. Sky blue bull python is written as blue sky bull python. Woo woo woo, little girl is wrong. End of this chapter. Chapter 178. Oscar felt speechless. Could this task be accomplished by humans? Tang Hao is Tang Rishan. The boss of the Wuhan temple was smashed with a hammer. If I really want to kick his ass, then he can't explode the ring. It has to be the kind of 9-ring explosion. Oscar feels that it is better not to do this task. If so, it is more reliable to scold Juhuagwan and ghosts. But with this task, it means that little Kaylin can still become stronger. A 10-year soul beast is not his goal at all. As long as he dares to kick Tang Hao's ass, then little Kaylin will become more like a dragon. At that time, he will not be too happy to ride a dragon. As for the riding method, Xiao Wu and Titan Giant Ape listened very confusedly. What are they talking about? Will little Kaylin become deaf in the future? Of course this is a joke. Although they are very confused about creatures like dragons, they still feel very powerful just by listening to them. The sky blue bull python can become the emperor in the Stardew forest with just a little bit of dragon blood, which shows that this dragon is very powerful point. Although the sky blue bull python's ability to become the emperor of the Stardew great forest is inseparable from his own efforts, but how can he become a strong man without natural aptitude? As Master Uzziah Gang said, there are no waste spirits, only waste soul masters. This sentence is so true. He said that he was so apt, so it's better not to listen to such nonsense. If he said that, wouldn't the whole people be soul masters? In a word, after Titan Giant Ape heard that his elder brother had the blood of a dragon, he immediately understood why he was stronger than himself. It turned out that he was cheating secretly. Tui Xiao Wu is also happy that Xiao Kaylin will become stronger in the future, because only when Xiao Kaylin becomes stronger can she protect her big brother well, so that her big brother will not be hurt. Seeing that they were all immersed in joy, Daming moved his bull's head again, still at the same speed, and he moved directly to little Kaylin's mouth. The little Kaylin was so frightened that even the snake letter didn't dare to vomit, because if she vomits again, she would have to lick the big bull's face, or to be more precise, it would lick Aozhou, the mouth of the Azure Bull Boa. There will be a scene where you and I are lingering and flying lightly. Wouldn't that be a warm green hat for the master? But fortunately, Daming didn't move any further this time. He just moved a little closer, and he didn't stick out his tongue. He just kept staring at Xiao Kaylin's head, and his eyes also became very tender, and he didn't look like an emperor at all. Oscar saw it very clearly from below. He knew very well what the Qingshan bull python was doing. He was so big that he wanted to confess his love. Do you dare to touch my woman? So what if you are a big man? I will still beat you. Oscar directly made his flying mushroom sausage. After eating, a pair of wings emerged on his back. Different from the previous elves' transparent color wings, this time the wings are silvery white. This silvery white light shines on the stars. It is very dazzling in the big forest. And after Oscar unleashed the wings, the soul ring on his body floated on his body, 2 yellow and 1 purple in color. However, the color of his soul ring is different from other soul masters, because his 2 yellow soul rings are a bit purple, while the purple soul ring is a bit darker, which is enough to show that his yellow soul ring is close to the existence of a 1000-year soul ring, while the purple soul ring is a bit darker. That purple soul ring is not an ordinary 1000-year soul ring. 2 recovery sausages appeared in Oscar's hands, but these recovery sausages did not have the function of recovery, but the function of attack. These recovery sausages are now like the armed color next door, radiating black and bright light. Oscar flicked it, and the target was Daming's huge eyeballs. Of course, Oscar knew that these 2 sausages would not harm Daming, but he could stop Daming from saying something immediately. Daming felt that Oscar's brother-in-law threw 2 small iron rods into his eyes. He was a little confused. I just wanted to confess my love to your soul beast. Is it only this excited? As soon as he closed his eyes, Oscar's sausage returned in vain and was ejected directly to nowhere. But Oscar's attack was not the only one. Since he wanted to stop Daming's confession, he had to use % effort, so he used his second martial soul. I saw a silver white light emitting from Oscar's left hand. This light was brighter than the wings behind him, just like the moon in the night. This is of course Oscar's dragon marked martial soul. This time around him, there are 2 golden soul rings. The golden color echoes with the silver in his hand. Holding the dragon pattern griddle, Oscar felt his strength surge. As long as he had the dragon pattern griddle in his hand, he would be very confident, but his current confidence was not that he could knock Daming out with a single slap, but he was confident that he could stop Daming open your mouth again. In an instant, the dragon pattern griddle in Oscar's hand changed to a size of 4 meters. After Oscar's soul power rose to level 39, his strength and soul power both increased by a large margin. The current dragon pattern griddle has changed to a size of 4 meters, just between his controls. But his control needs to be controlled by both hands. He raised the 4-meter sized dragon pattern draft and slapped Daming's head with overwhelming force. Dragon pattern shakes the sky. The first golden soul ring on Oscar's body became even more dazzling in an instant. Even Erming and Xiaowu on the ground closed their eyes. Erming wasn't worried about his elder brother. Although Oscar's brother-in-law's attack was very powerful, it wasn't enough to cause any harm to his elder brother Daming Point. But what surprised him was that Oscar's brother-in-law turned out to be twin martial souls. Miss Xiaowu didn't tell us. Daming, who was being slapped, was also very surprised. The surprises Oscar's brother-in-law gave him were endless. There is a 10,000-year soul beast as a pet, and this pet is also a rare 6-colored sky-swallowing python, and it also has the blood of a dragon. And now Oscar actually used a cauldron to shoot him. Does that mean Oscar's brother-in-law has twin spirits? This is too awesome, and the power of this soul skill is too strong. This shot is enough to kill a soul beast less than years old. The point is to kill it. As the Emperor's Azure Bull Python in the Stardew Forest, he certainly has enough pride. Although Oscar's attack is very strong, but for the not bad for him. Anyway, Oscar's soul power is only level 39. Although his martial soul and soul ring are very powerful, his soul power is still weak, and he can't exert the full power of this martial soul at all. So the sky blue bull python didn't dodge or evade. He just watched helplessly as the cauldron in Oscar's hand hit his head. But when Oscar approached him, his huge eyes widened quickly, because the place Oscar held up the cauldron to shoot was his nose. Men a cow's scream sounded. Men chirp chirp. Thanks to the big guys at the starting point for the rewards. Okay, end of this chapter. Chapter 179 DAMING and -039. S mouth is not as tender as ZIOCAILIN and -039. S. As a person who has gone to school, Oscar certainly knows that a cow's nose is a cow's weakness, and the reason why people put nose rings on cows is to make him obedient. Although the Azure Bull Boa is a powerful soul beast, it cannot be avoided that his head is also a big bull's head. His big bull nose is still very eye-catching, and the size of his nostrils is not much smaller than his eyes. And Giant King Neuban actually wants to confess his love to his little Kaylin, which is of course disobedient. Since he is disobedient, Oscar will of course make this big man obedient, even though he doesn't have a bull ring for him to wear now. Go up, but now he has a big pot to slap him. So the 4-meter sized dragon pattern grill that exudes silver light patted firmly on the nose of the Azure Bull Python. Even Daming himself did not feel such pain, because his nose had never been injured in these years. For so many years, he has never hurt his head, and this has created a mighty and domineering face. But now his brother-in-law, Oscar, let him try it. It felt like a normal cow being pierced with a nose ring. It was a scorching pain, and the corners of Daming's eyes were so painful that tears flowed. Daming's cry was loud and miserable, not to mention the soul beasts in the Stardew Forest who heard this cry. Even Oscar himself was startled. He never thought that his dragon pattern pot would be so powerful. Daming went straight into the lake in pain, tumbling in the lake for a while, which made Zio Kaylin, Worming and Xiaowu a little confused. Even if Oscar's attack was very powerful, it would not cause any harm to King Neuban. So much damage. Not to mention Daming. Even Erming's strength is far superior to other titled Douluo. Daming's terror is not comparable to that of ordinary titled Douluo. But just such a powerful and frightening soul beast was photographed by Oscar in a frying pan and juggled in the water. Doesn't this make them feel incredible? Oscar took the dragon pattern back, threw a jelly bean into his mouth, and then flew back to Xiaowu's side. He had no soul power left after using the dragon pattern to shake the sky. He wanted to. If he doesn't eat a jelly bean, he will perform a free fall. Oscar came to Xiaowu's side, looked up at Erming, who was staring at Daming rolling in the lake like a mountain. His expression was a little embarrassed. Well, Erming, Daming will be okay, right? Erming shook his big head, still staring at Daming rolling in the lake, but Oscar observed carefully and saw a trace of amusement in Erming's eyes. The corner of Oscar's mouth twitched and he thought, Erming, he probably has never seen Daming suffer such a big loss, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have revealed such a look. Erming, help me stop Daming. When he comes up later, I'm afraid he will be very excited. Oscar raised his head and said with a guilty conscience. Erming looked down at Oscar, which meant, brother-in-law, weren't you awesome just now? All the emperors of our Stardew forest were thrown into the lake in one pot. Why are we still scared after filming? Can Oscar not be cowardly? It's like originally wanting to massage Tang Heo, but ended up kicking his ass, and it still hurts. Isn't it because I don't want to live anymore? I want to die. He is like this now. Originally he wanted to stop Daming's confession and test the real power of his god level spirit ring, but he couldn't believe it because of the power of it. He is very confident in his skills, but this power is not real at all. Daming's strength should be about the same as Tang Heo, so how could he be slapped into an earthworm by him? Well, Erming, if you don't block my attack just now, can you continue? Oscar asked the question in his heart. Erming nodded and patted the rock wall-like muscles on his body. That means don't make it too obvious. It means that if I don't move, you can't break my defense. This made Oscar even more confused. Could it be that it has something to do with Longwenjaya? That's right, Oscar's eyes lit up, and he suddenly thought of the name of his dragon pattern platter. The dragon pattern platter has a pattern of a dragon on it. Could it be because the dragon tattoo has a different effect on beating a soul beast with dragon blood, just like 5 years ago when he patted Xiaokalin's eyes with a dragon pattern? His soul power was the soul master at that time. No matter how powerful the god level soul ring was, he couldn't let him be a soul master when he was a soul master. Just swollen the eyes of the little Kalin, who is about to reach the age of 10,000 years. The more Oscar thought about it, the more he felt that this was the case. Otherwise, it would be impossible to explain how he could have hurt Daming. Since the dragon pattern has the effect of restraining the dragon's blood, his second god level martial soul, the dragon pot. What's the hidden effect? After turning the dragon pot into a soul ring, he has never used it once. It's just that he doesn't even know what soul skills are, which makes Oscar very dissatisfied with his system. Every time he needs to feel the soul skills of the kitchen utensil martial soul, this feeling is a mess. Not even a test subject. Why don't you use Daming as a test subject in a while? Anyway, I have provoked him once, and I'm not afraid to do it again. If he seeks revenge on me later, I will use the dragon pot to deal with him. After he thought of this, he ate another jelly bean. He wanted to make his soul powerful. In order to restore his peak state, he made another recovery sausage and ate it. With such a unique recovery ability, his soul power recovered so quickly, but in the blink of an eye, his soul power returned to its peak state. He stood in front of Xiaowu. No, to be precise, he had already stood in front of the Titan giant ape Erming. Erming blinked his big eyes, thinking speechlessly, brother-in-law, I didn't even say a word, just hinted to you that your attack is not good, and you don't have to be so strong to fight the big brother so desperately. Forget it, my brother will go crazy in a while, so I'll stop him from ordering it. Not surprisingly for Erming, after Daming tossed in the lake for a while, his body gradually became more honest, and the whole lake gradually fell into calm, but no one would have thought that Daming would swallow his anger and never come out of the lake. It was definitely the calm before the storm. Sure enough, in the next instant, there was a huge wave on the huge lake, and the azure bull python rushed out with its mouth wide open, and the direction he rushed was exactly where Oscar was. The way the azure bull python opened its mouth wide really shouldn't be too scary. The majesty of the emperor of the Stardew Great Forest erupted from his body, making people shudder. Oscar standing at the front felt a little weak in his legs. The way Daming was showing off his power was really terrifying, but with Erming beside him, he didn't have to worry that he would be eaten by Daming. Besides, there is Xiao Wu by his side. Daming listens to his little sister Wu the most, and now they are at best competing for advice. Yes, definitely a sparring match. But this sparring is so scary. Now Oscar suddenly thought of a sentence Tanks and said, this Daming's mouth is not as tender as Xiao Kailin's. End of this chapter. Chapter 180 Chapter 2 Soul Technique. Dragon turns to the sky. Oscar looked at the bloody mouth that was biting towards him. It was impossible for him to say that he was honest in his heart, but on the surface he looked like he was not empty at all. The adjective high-spirited is now very suitable to describe Oscar. Xiao Wu turned into a little girl in an instant and shouted with a flushed face beside her, big brother, come on. Get Daming into the lake again. Listening to Xiao Wu's words, Oscar couldn't help laughing wryly. I don't have the strength to shoot Daming back into the lake again. The shot just now was just a mistake. Now Daming is on guard. He can't. I still stood still and let him take the picture. So he condensed his second kitchen utensil spirit, Zuanlang Hu Wuhan. This Zuanlang Hu Wuhan was exposed for the first time. A mini pot appeared in Oscar's left hand. When the Zuanlang pot appeared, Daming and Erming's eyes changed, because this was the third spirit released by Oscar, which meant that their brother-in-law actually had 3 spirits. Then they are really tired of brother-in-law Oscar. It's no wonder they think so, because human martial spirits are inherited from parents, and Oscar has 3 martial spirits, which proves that he has 2 parents and 1 mother. They really have to think so, and there is a basis for it. Fortunately, Oscar didn't know what they were thinking. If he knew, he would definitely be pissed off by the 2 of them. These 2 soul beasts who have lived for so long are still so brainless. What a theory. Daming has to admire his Oscar, no matter what his mother is, but his strength is really strong. There are actually 3 martial souls, but I don't know what ability this martial soul has. Oscar used his soul power to make the dragon turning pot full and bigger, because his strength has grown. He is not as difficult to control this dragon turning pot as it was the first time he controlled the dragon pattern a few years ago, and it is a pot that does not require him to hold it. Get up, just put it on the ground. Then a dragon turning pot taller than him appeared in front of him. After the dragon turning pot was enlarged, the dragon hovering above seemed to be alive, and its eyes were piercing, and these eyes just matched it. The Azure Bull Python looked at each other. Cheyenne King Niub and Daming felt palpitations after seeing this look. The suppression from his blood made him dare not look directly at this pot-like thing. He couldn't help thinking in his heart, is this monster a dragon? By the way, he looks similar to me. I dare not look at me. Can't I go around? So Daming dodged the Zuanlang pot, and the huge bull's head went around the Zuanlang pot and bit Oscar from the other side. He wanted to swallow Oscar in one gulp, and then spit it out, so that he could avenge that blow up. But how could Oscar let him get his wish? When Oscar saw that Daming was afraid of the dragon turning pot, he became more certain of his thoughts. Both his dragon pattern pot and the dragon turning pot had dragon characters on them. It can be said that they were born to restrain dragon-blooded soul beasts, so Daming decided to will be afraid of these 2 god-level kitchen utensils. After Oscar confirmed this idea, the second golden soul ring dancing beside him emitted a dazzling light in an instant. This light illuminated the surroundings extraordinarily dazzlingly, as if within a radius of 1000 meters. It was like daylight. And with the activation of this god-level soul ring, 3 colors of light were emitted from the rotating dragon pot one after another. These 3 colors were the azure dragon body, the golden lines on the dragon scales, and the white clouds around the dragon. This 3-color light is very abnormal, because the 3-color light is lit up separately. First, it is the white cloud. Golden lines flashed, and finally the blue light emitted by the blue dragon body. This azure blue light was the most prominent, directly shining on the body of the azure bull python. Under the light, the azure Niu bog felt that he couldn't move. The emperor of his majestic Stardao forest was actually immobilized by this broken pot of martial soul, which made him very upset. If titled Douluo could do it, it's very normal, but the opposite is just a soul master. This is so fucking embarrassing. But that's not the only thing that embarrasses him. After the light shrouded his body, Oscar touched the dragon turning pot with both hands and shouted suddenly, second soul skill, dragon turning sky suction. Oscar is very satisfied with the name of this soul skill, because this suction word is very powerful, and the suction word contains the function of restraint. As long as you are sucked, then you can't control your body, you can only be sucked all the time. It can be said that dragon turning to the sky is a soul skill of the control system. Dragon pattern pot is an attack type soul skill, and Zuan Lang Hu is a control type soul skill. As for what strength the strong Oscar can control, he doesn't know, but he is very sure now that he can restrain the Azure Bull Python Ming dynasty. After he released the dragon turning sky suction, Daming's body seemed to be out of control, rapidly shrinking and then getting smaller. His body also got into the pot of the turning dragon pot. Daming's eyes quickly turned frightened. What the hell is going on? I won't be played to death by brother-in-law Oscar. Brother-in-law Oscar, stop quickly, save me. Daming shouted in horror. Oscar wanted to let go of the dragon turning pot, but there was nothing he could do, because all his soul power had been absorbed by the dragon turning pot, and it was too late for him to let go. Oscar had no choice but to shake his head helplessly and gave Daming a look that I can't help, but take care of yourself. Ming Dynasty. After the light flickered, Daming was sucked into the dragon pot just like that. Oscar quickly ate a few jelly beans and then controlled the dragon pot to make it smaller. He looked inside curiously. I saw only a small horned snake circling in the dragon pot. Yes, it was really circling, and this circle was very fast. The speed was whizzing. This horned little snake is exactly Daming, and now Daming is spinning and jumping with his eyes closed. He doesn't want to talk right now because he's turning nauseous. Xiao Wu also saw Daming's pitiful appearance. She really couldn't hold back her smile and said, he Daming is so cute now. Xiao Wu is really right. Daming, you really got caught by Big Brother again. It's in the lake. Worming put his head down, looked into the pot. That was too small for him, and sure enough, he saw his elder brother in this small pot. It really looks like when Miss Wu saved him. Ha 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 ha. Worming couldn't help but also laughed, and his laughter and movements were very presumptuous. His huge body rolled straight on the ground and slapped the ground with his huge palms from time to time, quite like his wife was worried about him today. The excitement of giving birth to a baby monkey. Xiao Wu and Oscar looked at the Titan Great Ape who was playing monkeys next to him speechlessly. Their brotherhood was so strong. One of them became younger, and the other was so happy for it. Anyone here? End of this chapter. Chapter 181. Daming turns around in circles and reveals the characteristics of a dragon. Big brother, let Daming out quickly. Xiao Wu is going to get dizzy looking at it. Xiao Wu's little head followed Daming's body swaying nimbly and said, of course Oscar wanted to release Daming, but he felt that it would be dangerous to release Daming now, because he was afraid that if he suddenly released Daming, Daming would not be able to stop the car and continue to circle. It's okay to circle around in the dragon pot, but if he keeps circling after releasing him, then the surrounding forest doesn't matter, it will definitely be turned into ruins. So Oscar dragged Xiao Wu to ride on Xiao Kalen's body and headed towards the center of the lake. Only in the lake could it be safer. When they came to the center of the lake, Oscar said to Daming who was in the dragon pot, Daming, I will release you now, but you have to take it easy. This is your home. Don't give your home to you. Demolished. Daming didn't respond to Oscar, so Oscar regarded him as acquiescing, so he once again controlled the dragon pot to release Daming. The moment Daming was released, just as Oscar expected, he started to circle around the entire lake crazily, at a speed that made his second brother, the Titan Giant Ape, feel ashamed. Worming exclaimed in his heart, I didn't expect that my elder brother's strength would grow again. After walking around inside for a few times, the elder brother is indeed the elder brother. After a few minutes, Daming gradually stopped his body. He felt that he would never spin around again in his life, and he would faint from the pot in the future. When he saw the pot, he wanted to vomit, but now he vomited directly to the side, thinking while vomiting, this brother-in-law Oscar is too scary. What kind of broken martial soul is this? Even he can't stand it. Brother-in-law Oscar, you take me in too. I also want to have the speed of Big Brother, Worming said, patting his big chest. Oscar, no, why do you still have this hobby? But now Oscar also wanted to know whether his dragon turning pot could take the Titan giant ape into it, so he used his soul skill dragon turning sky absorption again. The movement of this soul skill was still so loud, but the Titan giant ape was slapping its chest excitedly as if nothing happened, and there was no such thing as damning at all. Oscar ate a few more sugar balls to restore his soul power. He understood that the dragon pot can only restrain soul beasts with dragon blood, and it doesn't matter how strong you are. As long as you have dragon blood, then it will be sucked in by the dragon pot and rotate quickly, also known as the dragon. Oscar's eyes lit up, and the name of the dragon pot turned out to be so. Oscar said to Worming's dragon pot can't suck you in, and your speed can only be exercised by yourself. Worming became dejected in an instant. His strength was not as good as that of his elder brother, and now the distance is getting bigger and bigger again. Oscar took back the dragon turning pot, and the moment he retracted the dragon turning pot, Daming stopped vomiting. Fortunately, Oscar's brother-in-law brought him to the center of the lake just now, otherwise he would have destroyed a large forest just now. But now he is still very afraid of Oscar's martial spirit. He turned his head to lean towards Oscar and Xiaowu, and asked curiously, "Brother Oscar, what is your martial spirit? Why is it so powerful?" Oscar looked up at Daming and replied, "I'm Xuanlang Hu Wu, woo, woo, woo. You're so cool and handsome." As soon as Oscar looked up, he couldn't help exclaiming the fragrant words, because he saw an incredible scene. The current Daming, no, the sky blue bull python is different from before. The current sky blue bull python has a mane growing on the lower jaw. 2 beards grew out. Of course, this beard is very familiar to Oscar, because this beard is exactly the same as the one on the dragon head on the dragon pot. That is to say, this beard is a dragon's beard, and that mane is a dragon's mane. These are the characteristics of Azure cow python transforming into a dragon. Hearing Oscar's exclamation, Xiaowu also raised her head curiously to look at the Azure bull python. After seeing it, Xiaowu rubbed her big eyes, and she exclaimed in disbelief, "Wow Daming, you are much more majestic now than before." The giant ape titan also saw the changes in his elder brother, and he was immediately happy to mention his elder brother, because his elder brother seemed to be more similar to that dragon's features. As the highly praised Daming Ben Python, he still has a dazed look on his face. It's good that I'm not in a mess after so many laps, but now he actually teases me for being handsome. You guys are so badass. Daming shook his big head very cooperatively and continued, turning the dragon pot Wuhan. This Xuanlang Hu Wuhan is really powerful, and there is also the one called Long Wenjia. Both of them can restrain me, brother-in-law Oscar. He was born to restrain me. Oscar felt speechless. How could I travel so leisurely to restrain you? I'm here to pick up girls bar, I'm here to save Douluo Dalu, and my wish is peace in Douluo Dalu. Seeing that Daming is still studying her big brother Oscar's martial spirit, Xiaowu couldn't help shouting anxiously, "Daming, take a look at yourself in the lake. Look at yourself. Look at it now." Daming was obedient to his little sister Wu. Xiaowu's urgent words made him look into the lake reflexively. The lake is still choppy, because he just turned around, but his big face is still too big. Yes, he saw his appearance under only a slight light. He couldn't help but yelled after seeing it, "Fuck, I'm so fucking cool." Oscar despises Daming very much. This is obviously the word I praised you just now. Is it really okay for you to just add the word me and use it? Daming stared at himself in the lake narcissistically. He turned his head to look at the left side of his face, then turned his head to look at the right side of his face, and raised his head again, so he couldn't look down. Not to mention how happy he was now, but he didn't dare to move, because as long as he moved, Shui himself on the lake would be broken by him. What if he couldn't restore his original appearance? Brother-in-law Oscar, do I have the characteristics of a dragon like little Kaelin? Although Daming understood what was going on with him, he still wanted to confirm it with Oscar. Oscar nodded and said, "That's right, you now have dragon whiskers and manes, and your strength has also improved a lot, just like your speed of turning circles has increased a lot. Congratulations Daming." Hearing his brother-in-law's confirmation, Daming's eyes shed tears of excitement. He was so damn happy. It turns out that the 10-year soul beast is not my end. He knew very well that the changes in his body were all caused by his brother-in-law Oscar sucking him into the dragon pot and spinning it around. Although he is dizzy when he sees the Xuanlang Hu now, He still wants to see the Xuanlang very urgently. He especially wants to spin him for another 3 days and 3 nights. Where is Jackie Chan? So he made this perverted request. Brother-in-law Oscar, take out the dragon spinning pot again. Please let me keep spinning it. Woohoo. Anyone. I'm so miserable. End of this chapter. Chapter 182, Fooling the Azure Bull Python into a Beast Pet. Oscar was very speechless to this damning's words. Why did he become addicted? Who just vomited into the forest for a long time after spinning? Have you forgotten the uncomfortable feeling just now? Even though he thought so, he was still both happy and surprised by the changes in Daming. The dragon pot turned out to have the effect of awakening the blood of the dragon. This ability is really amazing, but the awakening posture is not very ideal. He suddenly came up with an idea. If he put the little colorful scale inside and turned around, could she also directly increase the characteristics of a dragon like the Azure Bull Python? System. If I turn the little colored scale around a few times, will the sky blue bull python appear? Ding. Returning to the host cannot turn into a dragon. The host's pets can only have the characteristics of a dragon through the tasks issued by the system, and the situation of the Azure Bull Python is very special. His bloodline is no worse than that of Xiao. However, his bloodline has always been in an inactive state. He is activating his bloodline in the dragon pot, not improving his bloodline. After listening to what the system said, Oscar nodded secretly. If little Kaylin can improve her bloodline by spinning a few times, then this dragon pot will be too enchanting. In that case, he could completely let Xiao stay in it for a month. Bah, how could he do that? It was so cruel. Xiao had no reaction when she came out. Oscar raised his head and said to Daming, who was looking forward to it, "Oh, Daming. I just activated the blood in your body by turning the dragon pot. It didn't improve your blood, so if you want to turn it again, it's useless. But if you want to turn it, I can satisfy you too." As soon as Daming heard that it was useless to turn it again, he turned the wool again. Isn't that just asking for guilt? He hastily shook his big bull's head violently and said bitterly, "I won't turn it anymore. I won't turn it anymore. I'm already doing well." Although he said it very casually, everyone could see the pain on his face. The relatives of Xiao and Titan Giant Ape were of course very happy for Daming's change, and they all excitedly cheered and congratulated Daming. Daming is very satisfied with his current appearance. Compared to his previous appearance, he is more than twice as arrogant. Although his strength has improved a lot now, he feels that his strength can still be improved, and now he doesn't feel the bottleneck at all. But he always felt that his brother-in-law Oscar still had a way to improve his bloodline, but brother-in-law Oscar didn't tell him. The so-called opportunities are all won by yourself, not to mention that this opportunity will not exist in this village after this opportunity. If you don't ask now, it will be even harder to mention it next time. So Daming threw his majesty of the Stardao Great Forest Emperor out of the blue sky. He put his head in front of Oscar again, and Lion said to Oscar very reluctantly, "Brother Oscar, can you still promote me and Oscar?" Little Kaylin's blood. Oscar knew that there seemed to be a big fish biting his hook, so he said truthfully, "Daming, let me tell you the truth. I can raise the bloodline of little Kaylin in the future, but I can't raise it for you." I won't go any further on Oscar's words. As the old and cunning Daming, he will of course understand what's going on. Isn't it because little Kaylin is his beast pet? Daming immediately understood what Oscar's brother-in-law meant, but he didn't misunderstand that Oscar really didn't raise his blood because he wasn't his beast pet. Oscar's brother-in-law must have something hard to say, otherwise, as Xiao Wu's younger brother, his relative Lion Kyo, how could he make him a real animal pet? Daming nodded after he understood. Then he let out a roar, opened his mouth wide, and whispered into Oscar's ear, "Brother Oscar, please be sure to accept me as your animal pet." Fuck, this shit wasn't made by Oscar alone, but the exclamation of the cute Xiao and the craziest Titan Giant Ape. It's incredible that this scene happened in front of them. Is this still the Emperor of the Stardao Forest? Can I have some more face? Is it really good to do this? As an emperor who treats a human being as a beast pet, has he forgotten how he despised little Kaylin before? Worming said excitedly beside him, "Brother, you have to think carefully. I've thought about it very clearly." Daming replied with certainty. The reason why Daming said this is of course because he has his own ideas. He is now a 10-year soul beast, and he has not become a human like Miss Xiaowu, so he only has 1000 years to live. No matter how hard he tried to cultivate, it would be in vain, and now Oscar's appearance allowed him to activate his bloodline, which made him feel that his footsteps were definitely not limited to a 10-year soul beast, and now there is still a chance to improve his bloodline again. How could he not seize this hard-won opportunity? And Oscar's brother-in-law is still very weak now. The so-called timely help can make him occupy a place in Oscar's brother-in-law's heart. If Oscar becomes a titled Douluo in the future, and he wants to be his soul beast, it doesn't matter whether he agrees or not. What's more, with him as a beast pet, it would be difficult for Oscar's brother-in-law to perish on the road of cultivation, so his bloodline can only be continuously improved to reach his unforeseen strength. Oscar's brows were tightly frowned, making it look as if he was caught in a very difficult decision. His expression was very painful, as if someone had snatched his jelly beans just now. Of course, he made this expression for them to see. His heart is so beautiful now. He originally thought that his task of accepting the sky blue cow python as a beast pet would never be completed, but now it is about to be completed. This is so cool. Wahahahaha hiccup. Oscar's expression made Daming very excited. You see how much my brother-in-law thinks about me. He must be thinking how embarrassing it would be for me to be the emperor of Stardao Forest to be his animal pet. So he persuaded Oscar, brother-in-law, you just agree. You, I, and Sister Xiao know about the fact that I treat you as a beast pet, and knows it. No one else will know. I won't lose face. Oscar's face was pained. You see, everyone has thought about the future. I'm completely forced. So after thinking about Bibidang and Hulina for a long time, Oscar finally sighed and uttered 2 words. Oh okay. Daming's big face was as happy as a morning glory, and he was so excited that he wanted to bite his tongue to make a drop of blood, but his movement was stopped by Oscar. Daming is very confused. What do you mean? Why did you regret it as soon as you promised? Oscar put his hands behind his back and said to the bewildered Daming, to become my beast pet, you don't need a drop of your blood, and you don't need to sign any contract. As long as I call you, you promise. Xiaowu looked at her big brother from the side. She felt that her big brother looked a bit like that wet master. Oscar, I'm obviously the Silverhorn King, okay? Woohoo. Xiaowu from the TV series. Alas, it's hard to say. What do you think? Please subscribe. Please count votes. Little girl is so miserable. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183. Big Brother Pit the Old 2. Azhiniuban, do you dare to agree to my calling? Oscar asked. The Azure Bull Python felt a little ashamed. It would be better to have a mouthful of blood. However, he had no choice but to cooperate and said, here is the Sky Blue Bull Python. Are you going to be my animal pet? Oscar continued to ask. Damning, didn't you just say yes? Is this a moment? This is too embarrassing. Yes, 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 I want. Damning said helplessly. Xiaowu and Erming laughed happily. This scene is too silly. Erming thought curiously, is this the process of soul beasts becoming beast pets for sure? Are you sure you're not playing house here? Compared with Erming's thoughts, Xiaowu was not surprised at all, because last time her big brother just asked Xiao Kailin if she wanted to be his beast pet, and then Xiao Kailin nodded and became her big brother's beast pet. This is a very miraculous thing. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission, accepting the Azure Bull Python as a pet. Receive the mission reward, pet position +1. After the sound of the system sounded, Oscar felt that there was a very intimate relationship between him and the Azure Bull Python. This kind of relationship is indescribable, because it would be embarrassing to speak out. This kind of relationship is exactly the relationship between master and servant relation. Daming blinked his eyes. He also felt this feeling. He felt it was incredible. It didn't even use his essence and blood. It controlled him. This ability is really too strong. And when he became a beast pet, He also felt incredible in Oscar, because he felt that there was a kind of space on Oscar's body that could store him. As long as he wanted to go in now, he could go in at any time. He went in out of curiosity, and then he was stunned. This beast pet space can actually speed up his cultivation, which is really amazing. This made him very happy. If he had been cultivating here, his cultivation speed would also increase exponentially. After taking a look, Daming left the animal pet space and reappeared outside, but now he has not become as big as before. After he became Oscar's pet animal, he also mastered the ability to control the size of his body. He changed into one about the same size as Oscar, and said to Oscar, "Master, stop." Oscar interrupted him directly. Oscar said with a playful smile, "Daming, you should call me brother-in-law. If you call me master, your little sister Wu will twist brother-in-law's flesh several times." Although Oscar's words were playful, Daming was very moved. Brother-in-law is brother-in-law, and he didn't treat him as a beast pet. "Brother-in-law." Wu, the bull-headed little snake, cried weakly. "Daming, you must have seen my beast pet space. You also know that it can speed up your cultivation, and I also have rations here that can provide the growth of soul beasts. Xiao Kalen eats this every day to grow so fast." Oscar took out a bag of pet biscuits and threw it to Daming. Daming took a bite, and he felt that the energy in this biscuit was indeed what Oscar said, and this brother-in-law is really awesome. It can do anything. In addition to the animal pet space in this biscuit, I'm so happy. Emma, these little biscuits are really fragrant, and they can really increase the speed of cultivation and growth. The taste of eating is delicious, just like a cow eating fragrant grass. It is so fragrant that it licks the tip of its nose. Erming, who was on the side, heard that the biscuit could actually grow and increase the speed of cultivation. His eyes suddenly brightened, and he grabbed a small biscuit out of his elder brother's mouth with his big hand and put it in his mouth. This biscuit is really too small for his big hands, but his control ability is very good. He pinched a biscuit with 2 fingers, and it didn't break, but the biscuit melted when he licked it with his tongue. But I still feel the magic of this little biscuit. Then he thought of the place called Beast Pet Space that his elder brother had just entered. Now he has been left behind by his elder brother. Now he has small biscuits and a small space. This speed will definitely throw him away thousands of miles. If he doesn't chase him anymore, he will definitely die in front of his elder brother. This is something he dare not think about then. Puff Erming's huge body just knelt on the ground like this. Because his figure is a full-legged animal, this guy directly made a kneeling posture and kowtowed 3 times to Oscar. The huge black head was too pitiful. No matter how pitiful, those big lantern-like eyes flowed tears like waterfalls. He cried out, "Brother-in-law, accept this little pet." Oscar was secretly delighted. The fish was also hooked. "I'm really about to take off. The 2 emperors of Stardao Great Forest will go on strike today, hahaha." Oscar had never thought about the task of accepting the 2 big brothers as animal pets, because how could the emperor's body become the animal pets of his brat? But after his dragon turning pod turned Daming out of the dragon's beard, he felt that his task should still be complete, so he was helplessly forced by Daming to make him a beast pet. After harvesting the beast pet, he secretly communicated with Daming in the beast pet space and expressed his thoughts. Of course, this idea is also for Erming's consideration. Ozzy said this. "Erming's original strength was not as good as yours, but now your bloodline has been activated again, and your bloodline will improve again in the future. Your current strength has already left Erming far behind. It is impossible for Erming not to be in a hurry, but now I have small biscuits and animal pet space here that can improve his cultivation, so that Erming will no longer feel inferior. No longer cry, no longer think that he will die in front of you." The last sentence touched Daming. Yes, the 2 brothers have lived together for so many years. Now that he has developed a 10-year cultivation base, it is not his end. But if Erming does not become Oscar's brother-in-law's pet, then his end is a 10-year soul beast. He will definitely be like Oscar. As his brother-in-law said, dying in front of him was something he couldn't accept. So he and Oscar made a scene where the biscuits were really delicious, and then his second child really couldn't take it anymore and took the initiative to taste the biscuits, and then he, his big brother, knelt on the ground and begged Oscar accepted him as a pet. "Oh, okay." Oscar was forced to agree helplessly. "So, let me call you Do you dare to agree? The few words in the second class were repeated again, and then the Titan Great Ape became Oscar's little favorite. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission, accepting the Titan Great Ape as a pet. Receive the mission reward, pet position +1. Worming also went into the animal pet space. He felt the rapid flow of his body's soul power, and after receiving Oscar's words that would allow him to increase his cultivation, he was so excited that he shed tears of happiness. Died in front of his elder brother. The little girl who was caught by thunder didn't know what to say, which made me feel out of shape. The Zuanayu hand is good for blacksmithing. Ask for a subscription. Ask for a vote. End of this chapter. Chapter 184. The title Douluo of the Stardow Great Forest. Oscar feels that the Stardow Forest is his lucky place. Not to mention his rapid growth. He also got 2 women who like him, and he also received 2 powerful and frightening beast pets. This is really cool. Oscar is so excited that he can't speak now. He can completely imagine the scene of him traveling the Douluo continent with 2 10-year-old beast pets, but his excited mood was immediately poured with cold water. Because Daming and Erming said to him at the same time, "Brother-in-law, we cannot accompany you to the human world because we have to protect the Star Forest." Oscar just knew that these 2 emperors of the Stardow Forest were not so easy to fool away, and he also understood the meaning of the big brother. If there were no 2 of them in the Stardow Forest, then the Stardow Forest would definitely become a soul beast land of nightmares. But I received 2 powerful soul beasts, but I couldn't take them out to pretend to be aggressive. This is too frustrating. It's like my dad is the richest man, but can't spend his money, so he can only live by picking up junk. Very hard. Oscar understands what Daming and Erming mean. We can be your beast pets, but right now you don't have the strength to let me follow. We can only make your progress slowly by following you and rely on them so that his strength will stagnate. Even if his realm becomes stronger, his actual combat ability will become worse and worse. Oscar understands the principle of making enough food and clothing by himself, but he still feels a little uncomfortable in his heart. At least he has to pretend to be coercive before leaving. It's just that who is pretending to be within this Stardow Great Forest? He can't go to Bibidang to pretend. Isn't that self-inflicted? Oscar looked at the 2 bridges at the same level. Their pitiful appearance really looked like Ticatons waiting to be fed with dried fish. Oscar was speechless. Are they still the kings of the Stardow Forest? So Oscar took out all the small dried fish he had stored, bar it was pet ration biscuits, all of which were reserved for little Kaelin for several years, and now they are all given to the 2 of them. After Daming and Erming saw the little dried fish, their eyes suddenly lit up. The 2 brothers split the biscuit count into 2 parts. When the last piece was found, they were half of the family fairness. Erming, your current cultivation speed will not be as fast as Daming's, but you don't have to worry. I will naturally improve your bloodline when the opportunity comes. Oscar assured, patting his small chest. Of course, Erming believed in Oscar unconditionally. He has now become Oscar's beast pet, and he knows a lot of Oscar's secrets. Just talking about his 3 martial spirits proves his extraordinariness, and now there are also small biscuits and space for animal pets. How many miraculous secrets his brother-in-law hides, they can't guess it all. Daming and Erming made their bodies bigger again. They couldn't let others find out that they had become pets of human beings. Not to mention it would damage their majesty, and it would make people work hard to find their masters and bring Oscar back come to trouble. Sister Wu, brother-in-law Oscar, take care of yourself. Brother-in-law Oscar, you must protect Miss Wu. Daming said solemnly. Erming said worriedly, brother-in-law, Miss Xiao Wu's identity is too easy to reveal, especially title Douluo can tell at a glance. You must be more careful. Oscar said, you can rest assured that I will definitely protect Xiao Wu. I know that there is a fairy grass that can cover up Xiao Wu's identity. After returning to the academy this time, I will look for this fairy grass for Xiao Wu. Oh, is there such a fairy grass on the mainland? Daming asked curiously. He has lived for such a long time and has never heard of the fairy grass that can cover up the breath of soul beasts. If there is such a fairy grass, then why would they not choose the road of becoming adults? That's right, that fairy herb is in the medicine garden of a title Douluo. The name is Acacia Broken Heart Red. Oscar's eyes became very dignified. He seemed to be caught in the memory, thinking of the scene of Xiao Wu's sacrifice in the anime in his previous life. He turned his head and hugged Xiao Wu tightly in his arms, so he wouldn't let Xiao Wu sacrifice. He will kill anyone who dares to be unfavorable to Xiao Wu. Big brother, Xiao Wu is about to lose her breath. Yoo-hoo-ha, Xiao Wu said mischievously, sticking out her tongue. When Oscar heard Xiao Wu's words, he let go of Xiao Wu in embarrassment. Oscar said to Xiao Wu, don't worry, I won't let you get hurt. Xiao Wu won't let anyone hurt big brother. Xiao Wu said sweetly in Oscar's arms. Who? Daming and Erming suddenly looked into the forest. Their huge bodies moved quickly into the forest, and when they came to the front of the forest, a person wearing a black cloak came out. Of course, Daming and Erming wouldn't say much about this person, since he can hide from their eyes. His strength must be that of a titled Douluo, and he's still a top titled Douluo. No one can guarantee how many secrets he has heard from them, but even if they know that Xiao Wu is a 10-year soul beast and is still with Oscar's brother-in-law, they cannot let this person out of the Stardow Forest today. At this time, the two emperors in the Stardow Great Forest finally released their supposed strength, and their aura burst out immediately. Even if this aura did not put pressure on Oscar and Xiao Wu, it still made them both feel better. Feeling a little out of breath. Is this the true strength of the two emperors of Stardow Great Forest? Compared with the previous discussion between Daming and Oscar, it was just a joke before. Daming just let out his breath and he couldn't stand it anymore, let alone slapped his nose with a pot. If his identity wasn't Xiao Wu's boyfriend, then his end will definitely be fesses. Roar! The gigantic body of the Titan giant ape stood upright, and the aura erupted, as if Mount Tay was pressing down on the top point as the second child. He took the lead. He and Daming are both the absolute emperors of the Stardow Forest. Although they didn't want the title Douluo to leave the Stardow Forest, they also had their pride hands on. However, Daming detoured behind this title Douluo, blocking the way of this title Douluo's escape. With Daming blocking him, he would definitely be unable to escape. As the king of the forest, the Titan giant ape Erming exploded with a speed that was completely disproportionate to his huge body in an instant. With both legs, he swung his huge fist vigorously and went towards the title Douluo. But the Titan giant ape's attack is not just that. When he swings his fist, he also releases his domain, which is called the gravity control domain. This gravitational domain of the Titan giant ape is different from the gravitational soul skills of Xiao Wuqi. He can control the gravity changes in any part of the domain at will, not necessarily increasing, but also decreasing sharply. So he used his ultimate move. As soon as he made a move, he directly increased the gravity around the opposite title Douluo by 10 times. And after watching a few episodes of TV series, I feel very depressed. End of this chapter. Chapter 185 Clear Sky Douluo and -039. Clear Sky Hammer is not a small bamboo shoot. 10 times the gravity concentrated on that title Douluo. If this was an ordinary title Douluo, he would have thought about how to run away, but this title Douluo didn't. Not only did he not run, but he looked directly at the circle of the giant ape titan. He actually did something that even the giant ape titan couldn't believe. I saw this title Douluo looking up at the gigantic figure of the Titan giant ape. Not only did he not show any sign of retreating in his eyes, but instead had a sharp edge, and his eyes revealed a dark red light. And there is also a different kind of power exuding from him, which is also the domain. The aura emanating from this domain is chilling, and it also makes the Titan giant ape feel very familiar, because he has nothing to do with having this domain people have fought. Death God Realm. The title Douluo read out the name of his domain. Death God Domain. When Oscar heard the name of this domain, he knew who this title Douluo was. The name Killing God Realm makes people feel fear in the entire Douluo continent, because there are only 2 people who own this Killing God Realm, and as long as those 2 names are mentioned, people will be frightened. There was a slight smile on the giant ape's big mouth. He knew that a feast of battle was inevitable. The power of the 2 domains collided suddenly, resisting each other's domain power, erupting a strong sense of shock, and before the momentum dissipated, the Titan giant ape's giant fist fought against the title in the next moment. Luo's fists collided, and a majestic momentum erupted again. This aura is not a collision between soul powers, but a collision between two realms, a superposition of double collisions between two realms. The battle between the two top powerhouses can be described as wonderful. This intense collision is not the end of the battle, but the beginning of the battle between the two powerhouses. The battle between the top two Douluo continents began. Unlike the Titan giant ape's direct use of power, this titled Douluo released his martial spirit and spirit ring. One after another the spirit rings rose slowly under the feet of this titled Douluo. The speed of the rise of the spirit rings was not fast, but with the appearance of each spirit ring, the goosebumps on Oscar's body would become more and more. The spirit rings are yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 and red. This time, you can't be Hey, because this is a titled Douluo, and he is also a soul ring with 10 years. Titled Douluo. Now there are two things that exist on the Douluo continent. These two things are the killing god domain and the 10-year soul ring. These two people are talking about the two strongest titled Douluo on the Douluo continent. The two officially entered the Wuhan temple, Bibi Dang, the current pope, and Tang Heo, the Haitian Douluo who killed the former pope with one blow. But the existence of Tang Heo will be even more frightening, because Tang Heo's record is too brilliant. He is the one who smashed the former Pope Chihiroji, Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo in Wuhan Temple Point, and he has another record, which is to defeat the Titan giant ape, the king of the forest. At this time, the title Douluo opposite the Titan giant ape was Clear Sky Douluo Tang Heo, and the moment the soul ring appeared, his Clear Sky hammer appeared in his hand. This hammer is not a small black bamboo shoot with golden patterns. It sounds like it is cracking its head when struck. This hammer is the real Clear Sky hammer. Both sides of this hammer are cylindrical. The body of the hammer is extremely black, with carved patterns on it, and a dazzling black light shines on the entire body of the hammer, and there is an air current like lightning flowing on the black light. It looks very domineering. After he released his martial soul, the cloak on his head also fell off naturally, and his head was raised slightly. This is a middle-aged man who looks about 50 years old. He is tall and burly. His attire was completely different from the strong aura exuding from him. He was wearing a torn robe without even a thick patch on it, revealing his bronze-colored skin, but his facial features, which were fairly upright, were covered with a layer of sallow yellow. His hair was messed up like a bird's nest, and his beard was indistinct. The days have not been sorted out, but his eyes are indeed extraordinarily sharp now. Tang Heo, you've changed. The giant ape titan couldn't help exclaiming when he saw Tang Heo now. Oscar agrees very much, it has indeed changed. A down and out titled blacksmith can't work hard at home. Why come to the Star Forest? The hammer is coming. Tang Heo looked at the Titan giant ape indifferently and said, long time no see. I seem to have discovered something extraordinary today. After hearing Tang Heo's words, the Titan giant ape's huge body moved again. This time his fist was mixed with all soul power and other element. Tang Heo didn't dare to underestimate the Titan giant ape's attack. His top red soul ring suddenly lit up, and red lines emerged from the Clear Sky hammer. The originally black Clear Sky hammer instantly turned into a up red. The red Clear Sky hammer became extraordinarily huge in an instant. He swung the giant hammer to meet the Titan giant ape again. The battle between them broke out in the Stardow Great Forest. The strength of the two of them made the entire Stardow Great Forest tremble. Trembling for it. Fortunately, at this time Bibi Dung led the other people from the spirit hall to leave the Star Forest. Otherwise she would definitely bring people here, and of course there is no need to say what she is doing. The fierce battle made the Azure Bull Python a little dignified. A human being can be so powerful, which is completely comparable to him. Although Erming is now fighting fiercely with Tang Heo, he knows that his second child will definitely not be this Tang Heo's opponent, because Tang Heo has not used the soul skills after the 6th soul skill, and even Wuhan avatar is useless. Now that he wants to keep Tang Heo in the Stardow Forest, only he and his second child can do it together. He can't care about his majesty at all now, and he can't guarantee how many secrets Tang Heo just heard, even if he knows Miss Xiao Wu is a soul beast, so he must die. No matter how strong Tang Heo is, today he must die. The huge body of the Azure Bull Python moved, and he released his slow domain in an instant. This slow domain was extraordinarily huge, turning the surroundings into a blue world in an instant. Just Oscar and Xiao Wu felt that their bodies became very slow. Tang Heo was fighting fiercely with the Titan giant ape. He never thought that the mighty Emperor Sky Blue Bull Python of the Stardao Great Forest would make a sneak attack. Feeling the power of this domain, he groaned secretly, and sure enough, in the next moment, he saw the huge tail of the Azure Bull Python sweeping towards his body. It was too late for him to defend now. He could only watch the huge tail getting closer and closer to him. But just when the huge python tail was about to sweep towards his body, the python tail stopped unexpectedly, and the slow domain was also taken back by the Azure Bull Python. Not only that, but also the gravity domain of the Titan giant ape had disappeared, and the red lines on his huge body also dissipated. Tang Heo blinked his eyes, wondering, what does this mean? Stop fighting. My sledgehammer is so hungry and thirsty, you don't even want to hit it. The little girl burst out laughing when she saw the Haotian hammer of the real little bamboo shoot. Please forgive the ignorance of the little girl, it really looks like a little bamboo shoot. End of this chapter. Chapter 186. Forming a group to fool Tang Heo. Damning, stop fighting. Uncle Tang Heo, and we are a family. Oscar shouted. Of course Oscar's yelling was for Tang Heo to hear. He believed that Tang Heo didn't know that Damning and were his beast pets. If he could hide for such a long time, then Damning, the Stardao Great Forest Emperor, would really be too louche. Tang Heo saw that the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape both took back their domains, and he also took back his Killing God domain and Wuhan. Since they don't want to fight anymore, there is no need for him to find something to do. After all, he is still hurt. Now there is no real action. Thank God. Uncle Tang Heo. Oscar greeted Xiao Wu bouncing around in the distance. After saying hello, he and Xiao Wu quickly ran to Tang Heo's side. Oscar now seemed to see his own father. He should have seen him even closer than his own father. When Oscar and Xiao Wu came to Tang Heo's side, Tang Heo squinted his eyes and asked first, "Boy, do you know me?" Oscar's peach blossom eyes exuded admiration, and he said with a smile, "Of course I know. Clear Sky Hammer, 10-year Soul Ring, Killing God Realm, the #1 powerhouse in Douluo continent, Haotian Douluo Tang Heo, who doesn't know? Ah, you are my idol. He the #1 strongest person? No matter how strong you are, you can't protect the person you want to protect. Boy, you must protect her by your side in the future," Tang Heo said decadently. Oscar nodded, looked at Xiao Wu firmly and said, "Well, of course I will protect Xiao Wu, and I will definitely not let her get hurt." Tang Heo looked at Oscar and Xiao Wu and thought of him and Yin in the past. Alas, the past is unbearable to look back on. It's all my fault that I didn't get the soul ring at level, which gave Yin an opportunity. Oscar, to you I don't billion. That's because you deliberately plotted against your wife. Okay, otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence that you came to snatch Yin when you reached the 89th level of the Wuhan Hall? Wouldn't they come to the 91th level? Isn't level delicious? Tears of sadness appeared in Tang Heo's eyes. He suddenly thought of what Oscar said just now. He asked curiously, "Boy, what do you mean we are a family?" Oscar thought badly in his heart. Of course it's because your wife has a crush on me. I just don't know how much your wife likes me. It seems that I have time to visit her. Although he thought so, he definitely didn't dare to say that. Otherwise Tang Heo would definitely explode in the next instant and use his martial soul avatar, the Great Clear Sky Hammer, to blow him up. So he showed a kind smile and said to Tang Heo, "Uncle Tang Heo, your son is Tang-san." Boom, a surge of soul power erupted in an instant, and the 9 big rings on Tang Heo's body emerged again. Fortunately, the Titan Giant Ape quickly blocked this surge of soul power. Otherwise Oscar and Xiao Wu would definitely it was blown away by this soul power. Deadly. No, stop. Oscar shouted helplessly again. There is something wrong with paralyzing Tang Heo. As soon as I mentioned your son, you got mad. How protective you are. Tang Heo, don't blame me and Big Brother for being rude to you. If you do it again. If it weren't for brother-in-law Oscar, Big Brother and I would have fucked you to death. Titan Giant Ape pointed at Tang Heo with his thick fingers roared. A brother-in-law? Tang Heo said speechlessly with the corner of his mouth twitching. Two 10-year-old soul beasts call a little kid brother-in-law. No matter how you hear it, it feels a little uncomfortable. Oscar now reflexively wants to agree to Tang Heo's call of brother-in-law, but he always feels that this is risking his life. After thinking about it, he feels that his life is more important, so he didn't agree to Tang Heo's call of brother-in-law. Well, Uncle Tang Heo, you shouldn't call me brother-in-law, that would be inferior, and your son Tangson calls me brother-in-law. Oscar scratched the back of his head awkwardly. Tang Heo narrowed his eyes and said, "Oh, you mean you know my son Tang-san? Are you also a student of Notting College?" Oscar said to Tang Heo, "Uncle Tang Heo, my name is Oscar, and she is Xiao Wu. We are students of Shrek Academy. We stayed at Notting Academy for a few days. When we were at Notting Academy, the above myths how Oscar took care of Tangson in every possible way. For example, sending Tangson clothes, giving Tangson gold soul coins, sending Tangson bedding, treating Tangson to dinner, etc. However, he unexpectedly did not slander the master Uzayada gang, because he knew that Tang Heo had already met Uzayada gang once. Otherwise Uzayada gang would not have that token in his hand, and Uzayada gang still had to the token that represents the top elder of Wuhan Hall. That is to say, when he was at Notting College, Tang Heo had already looked for the masters once, and he just didn't see them. Otherwise Xiao Wu's identity would definitely be discovered by Tang Heo, so he couldn't slander Uzayada gang. If Tang Heo was so excited that he hammered Uzayada gang to death, so how could he lie to Bibidang? After all, a few years later, Uzayada gang will take Tangson to join Shrek Academy, and when he appears in front of Bibidang again, it won't be considered a lie to her. Bibidang should have discovered his identity long ago. Tang Heo listened to Oscar's narration. Of course he believed everything, because what Wu Shan said was what his son Tangson needed, and Tangson only had one shortcoming, that is, he had no money. This will indeed happen to him, but he can't figure out where the master he entrusted has gone to dry wool. Why are brother-in-law Oscar and sister Xiao Wu worrying about everything? Thank you for taking care of Xiaozhen. I feel very relieved that Xiaozhen has such a good sister and brother-in-law like you, but I don't have anything on me now, so I can give it to you as a thank you. Tang Heo said gratefully. Uncle Tang Heo, you don't have to be polite, this is what we should do. Xiao Wu said obediently when she felt Oscar's gaze from the side. As soon as Tang Heo saw Xiao Wu, he would think of a yin. He said seriously to Oscar, "Oscar, you must protect Xiao Wu, especially not to let her meet Title Douluo. Title Douluo can tell at a glance. With her identity, I don't hope that one day you will encounter the same experience as me." Uncle Tang Heo, don't worry. I already know that a fairy grass can cover up Xiao Wu's aura. Oscar said with a smile, his mouth slightly raised. Tang Heo was shocked when he heard it. What? Is there any fairy grass in this world that can hide Xiao Wu's aura? Oscar knew that Tang Heo would definitely be excited when he heard about it. After all, if he had known about this fairy grass, Yin would not have died. Of course, only he himself knew whether he would die, but Oscar would definitely the one who helped him find this fairy grass was firstly, because he wanted to thank them, and secondly because he wanted to make up for the guilt he felt towards Yin. Originally Tang Heo wanted to express his gratitude to Oscar and Xiao Wu for taking care of his son Tang-san, but he really didn't have anything on his body that he could take out, and now he suddenly heard that there was such a plant of fairy grass. Could it be that this is the secret of the dark? Is freedom God's will? Happy New Year's Eve. The little girl is cooking the New Year's Eve dinner. The end of this chapter. Chapter 187. Tang Heo is confused. Tang Heo asked Oscar with bright eyes. Oscar, what is the name of the fairy grass you mentioned? Where is it? Uncle Tang Heo will help you get it. Oscar shook his head and refused. The fairy grass is called Acacia Heartbroken Red, and you can't get Uncle Tang Heo's fairy grass from the medicine garden of the Title Douluo Poison Douluo. It's extremely poisonous there, and there are two kinds extreme gases, namely extreme heat and extreme cold. Tang Heo waved his chest and said disdainfully, poison? How can his anti-drug cause harm to me? Don't say it's his poison, it's just PFFT. Tang Heo suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Then he weakly held his chest, closed his eyes, and slowly sat on the ground. Oscar, Xiao Wu, damning and erming all looked dumbfounded. What the hell is wrong? This man. Don't bite the bullet and pretend to be coercive. Isn't this Tang Heo who was fighting fiercely with the Titan giant ape just now, but he was beaten back to his original form just by pretending to be coercive? Oscar originally planned to ask Tang Heo to help him fetch all the celestial grasses for the ice and fire yin yang eye, but now it seems that this plan is not going to work. The pretender has been standing up. Oscar originally thought that Tang Heo's current injuries were not serious, but now it seems that the injury has long been too serious. It seems that I have to go to the ice and fire yang eye in person, unless I'm really having a hard time. Recovery sausage. A sausage appeared in Oscar's hand. He handed it to Tang Heo and said, "Uncle Tang Heo, this is my recovery sausage. If you eat it, it should be able to slightly recover your injuries." Tang Heo opened his eyes and looked at this unremarkable sausage. He felt that he was not interested in sausages. Even if the sausage smelled delicious, the sausage made by Oscar would definitely not have any effect on him, so he shook his head. Refused. The most annoying thing about Oscar is that other people don't like his sausage. Even titled Douluo, "My sausage is so effective, how could he not like it?" So he started to use his 3 inches of immortality. "Uncle Tang Heo, my recovery sausage is really good for recovery. You will know it after eating it. Come on." Tang Heo didn't know what kind of mentality it was. He actually ate Oscar's recovery sausage. After eating, he felt that his injury had really recovered, but the recovery effect was indeed negligible. However, he has a new understanding of Oscar's ability. His spirit power level is still so low, but his spirit ability can help him, the titled Douluo, recover a little from his injuries. This ability can't be said to be weak. Seeing that Tang Heo's complexion didn't improve after eating his recovery sausage, Oscar was even more sure that his recovery sausage could only heal the injuries of soul masters who were TH level above him. So he took out a few more jelly beans and handed them back to Tang Heo, saying, "Uncle Tang Heo, these are the jelly beans of the food type soul sage, which can restore your soul power and your injuries." Tang Heo opened his eyes quickly. This Oscar actually has jelly beans made by the food type soul sage. The food made by this soul sage is very rare. He didn't care about face at all and hurriedly put the jelly beans in his mouth. Looking at Tang Heo's current state, Oscar really looked like the old man who met Rainbow and decided to eat Rainbow. He ate deliciously. After Tang Heo ate Shaoxin's jelly beans, his face softened, as if his face had a normal color after being covered with a layer of wax oil, but it was impossible for these jelly beans to heal his injuries of. "Uncle Tang Heo, are you okay?" Oscar said worriedly from the side. "Thank you, Oscar. My injury is old, and it has become mice equally. As long as I use my soul power, I will commit it later." Tang Heo waved his hand. "Then you are so pretentious. Can he change his appearance if he doesn't fight Erming?" Oscar suddenly remembered his task of kicking Tang Heo's ass hard, which would make little Kalen grow dragon claws. It's just that, if he wants to suddenly kick Tang Heo's ass now, Tang Heo will definitely be furious, even if he can't even touch a tiger's ass, let alone the ass of Tang Heotian point. It still needs a long-term plan to come back. Tang Heo felt Oscar's eyes staring at his ass all the time, which made him feel very uncomfortable, and felt a little uncomfortable all over. What does this little brat want to do? Why is he staring at me, an old man, so small? Shouldn't he be staring at Xiao Wu next to him? Does he still like an old man like me? Huh? He shivered, unable to bear Oscar's gaze any longer. "Oscar. Oscar." Oscar was brought back to reality by Tang Heo's voice. It seems that this task cannot be done for the time being. In order to avoid embarrassment between them, he asked Tang Heo, "Uncle Tang Heo, what are you doing in Stardew Forest this time? Would you believe me when I said I was looking for the Titan giant ape?" Tang Heo said with a wry smile. Oscar nodded. Of course he believed it. This fucking bastard can do anything. Just like after Tangson left the Holy Soul Village, he also left the Holy Soul Village and said that some things should be settled. No one knows exactly what he was doing. All he knew was that he came out when Tangson and Xiao Wu were about to be fucked to death, As for what he was doing in the past few years, no one knew. It was very likely that he was looking for his former opponent settle the score, and he once had a battle with the Titan giant ape, so it is nothing at all to come to the Stardew Forest to find old friends. After Aozhou left, I followed him to Notting College and handed over my token to Grandmaster. Although his strength is not very good, some theories are still useful. Give thanks and I don't worry about him. Oscar thought to himself, this is really a real father. That master didn't even know who he was, so he handed over his son to him. This father is really a father. I've heard of the shopkeeper letting go, but I haven't seen daddy letting go, and today, Oscar saw a father who let go, handed over his own son to another man, and then he mysteriously disappeared. Tang Heo can be regarded as seeing a person who can tell the truth. He told Oscar a lot of things. At the beginning, he was talking about Tang-san, and then he started to brag about himself. How did he know each other? His mother, Tang-san, fell in love with a woman with his brother Tang-Zhao, and then he was better at picking up girls than his brother, so he got the inexperienced Aryan. Oscar and Zhao Wu listened with gusto. When Zhao Wu heard that Aryan sacrificed for Tang Heo, she shed tears, stood up and kicked Tang Heo's ass, pointing at Tang Heo's nose, and crying and cursing. Wu, why are you so useless? You can't even protect your own wife. No wonder the third son never mentioned his mother. The third son is so pitiful. Oscar blinked his eyes, looked at Zhao Wu's movements, and yelled in his heart that he was awesome. He dared to kick Tang Heo's ass. This is really number one in Douluo continent. This is a good opportunity to complete the task. Since Zhao Wu has already become number one, then I will be the second person. So Oscar also followed Zhao Wu's footsteps and kicked Tang Heo's ass hard. Tang Heo was dumbfounded. Happy New Year's Eve, Gongzi Fa-Ke. Here are the red envelopes. Hehe. End of this chapter. Chapter 188. Tang Heo. Oscar, thank you. Tang Heo felt his ass was kicked twice. He blinked his stupid eyes. I'm just pretending to be aggressive. I'm going to say that I killed the former Pope of Wuhan Temple with one blow. Can you let me go on? No one has dared to kick his ass since he was born. Today he was actually kicked by 2 children. It turns out that Oscar just stared at my ass. Didn't he mean anything to me? It turned out that he wanted to kick me a long time ago. Tang Heo, my dignified Tang family, Heoshan Zong Heoshan, was kicked in the ass today. This is so fucking funny. Tang Heo's heart is very bitter now. He turned his head to look at Wu Shine and Zhao Wu, then raised his head to look at Sky Blue Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape. Okay, I, Tang Heo, have always been adults regardless of villains. So what if you kick me twice? Even if I kick it again, I will definitely smile and never smoke. Then, fuck. The feeling of fulfillment struck again. This time it was much harder than the last time, because his right leg couldn't help but take a step forward. Point as the saying goes, a skinny camel is bigger than a horse. Although he is currently injured, his strength cannot be underestimated. Can he smash the Wuhan Temple with a sledgehammer if he doesn't see it? There are many factors that caused Tang Heo to be kicked and took a step forward. The first is because of Tang Heo's carelessness. Damn. Who would have thought that the two of them would be able to kill the carbine again after kicking each other? The second is because of Oscar's use of soul power. He feels that he can't kick hard if he just kicks with his body. If he wants to complete the task of kicking hard, he must finish it once. There is no chance. So Oscar directly used his Oscar to fly kick. Although Oscar used a lot of force just now, the system didn't even prompt him. Isn't this bullshit? So this time Oscar kicked Tang Heo's ass firmly. Tang Heo thought a little angrily. Fuck, do I want chrysanthemums to bloom everywhere today? I have been kicked 3 times by these 2 brats right now. This is elder abuse. You can see that they lack tutoring. See how gentle my mistress is. 1 mouthful and 1 dad. Do you want to go to see the little stars? See if I will teach you a lesson for your parents today. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the task of Zhao Kailin transforming into a dragon. Kick Heoshan Douluo Tang Heo hard in the ass. Congratulations to the host for getting the task reward. Little Kailin grows little dragon claws. Oscar hurriedly looked towards the animal pet space. At this time, Zhao Kailin was eating animal pet biscuits in the animal pet space. Her posture really didn't look like a python. She rolled her body flat on the ground in the animal pet space in astonishment. That way really enjoys as much as you want. The corner of Oscar's mouth can't help but twitch. It's too leisurely to stay here. The system will give her dragon claws. Oscar hurriedly communicated with the system. The task reward has been issued. Please observe carefully the host. If it weren't for the fact that the voice of the system was a young lady, Oscar would definitely scold the system. Where is the reward? Superfluous. Where is the foot? Take the pot to stew. After careful scrutiny, Oscar finally discovered the so-called dragon claws of little Kaylin. If it wasn't for little Kaylin rolling on the ground, he really wouldn't have seen it. There are only 5 small claws. To be precise, there are 5 claws, but the dragon claws are so small, as if they were just born, white, tender, and look quite moist. The size is only a little bigger than Zyro Kaylin's eyes. Isn't this just a joke? Why is the system's little Kaylin's dragon claw so small? What can such a small dragon claw do? Oscar couldn't help asking the system excitedly. However, the system only replied, please read the mission rewards carefully. My fucking little dragon's claw. This F***king1 isn't chicken feet with pickled peppers. There are big and small bags. Although Oscar was very angry, he was also helpless. Although the pickled pepper dragon claw was a bit small, it was still a dragon claw, much better than nothing. Little Kaylin, how do you feel now? Oscar asked Zyro Kaylin. Zyro Kaylin reported to Oscar HUI, while rolling on the ground, Master, I'm scratching. Oscar's face was full of black lines. It turned out that Zyro Kaylin was not rolling on the ground for enjoyment, but because her body was tickling. It's also pretty good. 5 little itches suddenly appeared on the body. No one can stand this. But Oscar can't help her. This process must be adapted by herself. This is her evolutionary state. It seems that she still needs to adapt for a while, but I don't know how much her strength will improve after she adapts. Okay. It is not extravagant to hope that the strength can be improved much. The 5 pickled pepper dragon claws look delicious. And what powerful attack power will they have? Oscar exited the animal pet space and began to face the cruel reality immediately, imminently, and now, he was seeing Tang Heo's stunned fruit on the tree, frowning at him like William Ubber. His small face suddenly became extremely ferocious, and the firepower on his body was fully fired. He pointed at Tang Heo's body and shouted loudly, why can't you protect the one you love? If you want Yin to sacrifice for you, look at you again. Now that I'm like this, I really feel worthless for Yin. If Yin is alive, she will definitely slap you hard. Although I can't slap your big mouth, I can still kick you a few times, but Big Brother is right. Zyro Wu is going to kick him away. You go over there quickly, pouted. Zyro Wu also shouted angrily. Oscar and Zyro Wu's scolding made Tang Heo slightly angry just now, but suddenly disappeared because what Oscar said was right. And what he said was not bad at all. Yin's little seedling is whipping his big mouth with her cane every day, and they still slap left and right together, and the strength of the slap is still very ruthless. If this is not done together, his face will definitely be slapped to one side. So compared to before, he had been with Yin all the time, but now he really didn't dare to accompany him, and now he was slapped in the face. Who the hell could bear it? So this made him wonder why Yin beat him. And what Oscar said just now seemed to wake him up. It turned out that it was because Yin hated that iron could not be made into steel. She is complaining that I'm still secretly sad and guilty for her. Yin, she wants me to welcome a new life. Let me come out of her haze. I understand. Tang Heo grasped Oscar's hands excitedly. His face full of stubble burst into laughter instantly. He smiled like a velvet chrysanthemum and said happily and excitedly, ha 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 ha, Oscar, thank you. I can't thank you so much. Oscar looked at Tang Heo, whose hands were trembling with excitement, and thought to himself, I just kicked him twice. Why did Tang Heo lose his spirit? After kicking Tang Heo, can kicking ass be transferred to the brain? How can I explain this to Zyro-sana? Happy New Year's Day. I love you guys. Carrot 3 carrot. End of this chapter. Chapter 189 Dream. Dat, I like Yin. That, Uncle Tang Heo. You don't have to thank me, although I don't know why you thank me, but this is what I should do. Oscar tried hard to withdraw his hand, but how could he be as energetic as Tang Heo? Tang Heo's hand pinched his hand like iron pliers. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pull it out. Tang Heo wiped his sad tears and said, Oscar, I really want to thank you so much. You don't know how hard my life has been all these years. I'm the one who feeds Mistress Subig with shit and piss. It can be regarded as sending Xiaozhen to the college to study, and I will spend a lot of time with my yin, but as long as I go, she will slap me. That pumping is so cruel. It was much harder than you kicked me just now, so I was so scared that I didn't dare to go again. After going there a few times, if I go again, I will definitely be beaten to death by her. So I have been worrying about what I should do so that Aryan will stop slapping me. And just now you woke me up, the person in my dream. Aryan, she whipped me because I was decadent. She was so cruel. I didn't cheer up. So Uncle Tang Heo must thank you. You are right, my family's favor is really too much. Thank you. Oscar blinked his peachy eyes, thinking to himself, I love flowers and trees. This is really important news. The fact that Aryan beating Tang Heo violently is really amazing. If it is filmed, it will definitely attract a group of people to watch. Point by the way, Aryan slapped Tang Heo loudly. It couldn't be because of the task that I gained Aryan's favor. If it's true, it's so much fun, then this Tang Heo will definitely not be beaten less often. This Tang Heo is really whimsical. Did he mean to get up and start a new life? But even so, will Aryan stop beating you? Or is it just to find an excuse for yourself and want to score twice? Oscar saw Tang Heo's chance to wipe his tears and hurriedly pulled his hand out. He put his hand into his trouser pocket and said, Uncle Tang Heo, you don't have to thank me. It's great that you can cheer up. I believe Xiaozhen saw you. You will be very happy with his appearance. Uncle Tang Heo, do you have any plans for the future? Tang Heo looked up at the sky and said, are you planning? Of course. First dress yourself up brightly, and then go to the Shrek Academy teacher you mentioned, Xiaozhen, for some jelly beans. To me, his jelly beans are still it is useful, and then I will protect the mistress for a while. I just heard what you said just now, and I feel that the master seems a little insecure. Oscar nodded, thinking to himself secretly, if you love me, Tang Heo will wear clean and neat clothes. He will definitely be a handsome uncle, but no matter how handsome he becomes, Aryan will still slap him. Not wrong. Point. Speaking of which, if Tang Heo went to Notting College and saw Tangson holding a book the sun shines on a grass reading, or happened to see Xiao-san's right hand moving, I don't know what his expression would be. Tang Heo seemed to have thought of something suddenly. He suddenly stretched out his hands to look at Oscar and said, oh by the way, Oscar, Xiao-wu, etc. After Xiao-san goes to Shrek Academy, you must help me take care of him. His heart is too dull. He will definitely struggle to find a girlfriend. If you see someone suitable for Xiaozhen, please introduce him to Xiaozhen. I will leave the matter of his girlfriend to you. This matter I don't have to worry about it. You have to worry about it as sisters and brother-in-laws. Ha 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 ha. Oscar and Xiao-wu blinked and blinked their big eyes. How could the matter of finding a girlfriend for Xiaozhen be mentioned to them? It didn't seem to match. Oscar thought to himself, is this the cycle of cause and effect? Xiao-wu and I are a couple, so I'm going to find a wife for Tang-san. This seems to be right. But what kind of one is suitable for Tang-san? Do you want to find a local dialect or village flower for Xiaozhen? It doesn't seem to work. Tangson is a pure and clean third young master, and his heart is spent very much. How could he fall in love with ordinary beauty? Forget it. Let's talk about it later. Uncle Tang Heo, don't worry. This matter is on me and Xiao-wu. We will definitely find you a suitable daughter-in-law. Oscar patted his small chest and promised. Xiao-wu also said happily, that's right, Xiao-san's girlfriend is left to Xiao-wu. Xiao-wu will definitely help Xiao-san find a girlfriend who is white, big, and juicy. Tang Heo and Oscar have black lines on their faces. Are you sure you mean the girlfriend or the big bun? But Tang Heo was very happy to hear Xiao-wu's assurance. At least his son would not be hungry in the future. Although the drink is still dilute, the nutritional value is too different. Because of Tang Heo, Oscar and Xiao-wu stayed in the Stardao forest for another night. Tang Heo was full of praise for Oscar's craftsmanship and praised Oscar as the best cook in mainland China. Tang Heo drank too much that night. He didn't even know how much he drank. In his dream, he dreamed that he became glamorous, wearing gold and silver, surrounded by several confidants, and they were wearing very little clothes, and he has many sons, so he didn't remember the names at all, so he arranged from the third to the back, Tang Si, Tang Wu, Tang Liu. When he was kissing me with his confidant, Aryan came out from there, slapped him for a while, and then Aryan left. He didn't chase after him, because he had so many confidants. Why did he have to chase after a grass? Is this big forest not good? Later, his son Tang San suddenly appeared. His son was very handsome, so handsome that he didn't look like him at all, and in Tang San's hand was holding the book The Sun Shines on a Grass written by him. Tang San shouted to Tang Heo, "Father, I like Aryan. I want her to be my wife. You rebellious son." Tang Heo woke up suddenly, his eyes opened wide, and he looked around. There was not a single human figure in the surrounding area. To be precise, there was a human-like shadow, but that shadow was particularly large, and this shadow was Erming, the Titan giant ape. Erming's big face moved closer to Tang Heo's body and asked, "Tang Heo, are you alright? Are you calling for a woolen thread early in the morning?" Tang Heo exhaled a foul breath and thought happily in his heart, "So this is a dream." It scared the hell out of me. He felt cold sweat all over his body. He stood up and asked Erming suspiciously, "Where are Oscar and Xiao Wu? And where's your elder brother?" "My elder brother, do I need to say it? Of course he takes a bath in the lake. He has been out for so long, and he said that his skin is shriveled and not supple. He said that he needs to replenish water well. Don't tell him to come out," Erming said helplessly, covering his head. Tang Heo's mouth twitched. "Hydration for 10 years. Are you sure it's hydrating? Isn't it dead inside?" On the first day of the new year, the hard-working little girl, making dumplings, cooking. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190, Leaving the Stardew Forest. The Titan giant ape stared into the sky in the distance. As for Miss Xiao and brother-in-law Oscar, they both left the Stardew Forest while you were talking in your sleep. Tang Heo touched the back of his head and looked at the sky, where the giant ape was looking. "Did I talk in my sleep? Nothing to say. That's the story you have to tell between your son and your wife," Titan giant ape said indifferently. Tang Heo felt his head spinning, and his vision instantly became pitch black. "It's over. Lao Tzu's famous name is over." The Titan giant ape didn't care about Tang Heo, who was holding his head and was about to fall, but was still looking at the sky in the distance. "Brother-in-law Oscar, you must protect Miss Wu." That second child, I actually don't want to say. The direction you are looking at is wrong. They are leaving from the opposite direction." The voice of the Azure Bull Python came from the lake. Accompanied by his voice was the bubbling lake surface. Damming was bubbling. Erming felt very embarrassed. "There was an outsider beside me, and the eldest brother exposed me, so where would I put my majestic king of the forest face?" So he picked up the rocks on the bank and threw them towards the lake, and Erming started poking bubbles. Tang Heo felt very speechless about this. What is this for? Are the two emperors free to play bubbles and poke bubbles here? Nothing boring. Then Tang Heo also joined it, because he felt that being able to play with the two emperors of the Stardew Great Forest was a hard-won opportunity, and he could continue to brag about it in the future. "Not only did I defeat the Titan giant ape, I also played with the two emperors. Played the bubble game." Contrasted with the boredom between them, Oscar was holding Xiao Wu's delicate body and soaring freely in the air. The elf's clear wings flashed behind him, and the beauty in his arms was snuggled up to his shoulders. This feeling is really not too pleasant. Xiao Wu's small face leaned on Oscar's shoulder and smiled very sweetly. Oscar also looked at Xiao Wu at this time, and he showed a charming smile. The scene at this time really couldn't be more warm and ambiguous. Oscar stopped slowly in the air. He held Xiao Wu's slender waist with one hand and made a mushroom sausage with the other hand. "Xiao Wu, eat a mushroom sausage." Xiao Wu pursed her mouth and glanced to the side, pretending to be angry and said, HMPH no, Big Brother doesn't love Xiaowu anymore. I don't want to hold Xiaowu anymore. I want Xiaowu to fly by herself. Oscar hastily explained to Xiaowu, how could I not love Xiaowu? Big Brother wants to. So Xiaowu ate the mushroom sausage with a scorched complexion. After Xiaowu ate it, crystal clear wings appeared behind her, which made Xiaowu more agile and charming. Xiaowu flew around in the air and smiled happily at Oscar while flying. Hee Big Brother, come and chase me. Xiaowu flew to the side nimbly, although she said that Oscar would chase her, but she didn't fly so fast. Just as soon as she moved, Oscar caught up with her. Oscar hugged Xiaowu's slender waist tightly, and Xiaowu shyly lowered her head slightly, not daring to look into Oscar's eyes. When Oscar saw such a lovely Xiaowu, how could he resist it? He touched Xiaowu's fragrant lips with his wet little lips, and the sky above the Stardow Great Forest was filled with pink color for a while. Oscar, who does not want billion, of course would not close his eyes. He just looked into Xiaowu's eyes. Xiaowu also gave up her shyness when she was in love and stared at her big brother with big watery eyes. Oscar thought firmly in his heart, Xiaowu, I will definitely protect you and will never let you suffer any harm. Little Kaylin wrapped around Oscar's arm and looked pitifully at her. Who doesn't want billion? Why did you to call me out? Can you respect my weak heart? I will be jealous. Fortunately, the effect of the mushroom sausage was long enough to last for 10 minutes. Of course, their battle situation did not last for 10 minutes, but after a few minutes, the two of them reluctantly separated. Then Oscar took Xiaowu's hand and flew towards the outer edge of the Stardow Great Forest. Although he encountered a few flying soul beasts along the way, Oscar and Xiaowu's speed cleverly avoided them. About a day later, they flew out of the Stardow Great Forest. It is worth mentioning that, because Oscar's soul power has increased to level 39, he can make more than 3 mushroom sausages. Otherwise he would not be stupid have to be passionate with Xiaowu in the air. After Oscar and Xiaowu flew out of the Stardow Great Forest, they had to leave, because if they used to fly again, the target would be too big. If they were adults, it would be okay, but they are still 2 children now. 2 children flying in the air with wings is really shocking, and will definitely cause unnecessary trouble. Oscar took Xiaowu's hand and said with a smile, there is a town in front of Xiaowu, we can get there in a short walk. Xiaowu nodded and said happily, Big Brother, Xiaowu wants to eat sticky, sweet and big candied haws. Oscar said with a smirk, okay, Xiaowu, let go of your stomach and eat. Xiaowu, your stomach has to be big, and when the time comes, Big Brother is nice to hear, if there is a baby in it. Xiaowu flaunted her teeth and claws and said fiercely, oh Big Brother, you are too bad. Eat Xiaowu's little fist. Hey, brother, don't run away. HMPH Oscar and Xiaowu stayed in a hotel in the small town. This hotel was one of the worst hotels Oscar and Xiaowu stayed in, because it didn't even have any romantic atmosphere here, and it didn't even smell like rose petals. It's just that it's a bit worse than the Chrysanthemum dormitory in Shrek Academy. After dinner, Oscar embraced Xiaowu who fell asleep and checked his panel through the communication system. Of course it's the system panel, not the dumpling panel. Happy New Year. Host, Oscar, Australia. Soul Power, Level 39 Wuhan, Enhanced version of Sausage, Legendary Kitchen Utensils Soul Skills, Restoration Sausage, Detoxification Sausage, Flying Sausage, Dragon Pattern Shaking the Sky, Dragon Turning Sky Absorption Task, Long-term phase collection of kitchen utensils. The second phase has been completed, the third phase is to be opened. The specific opening time is unknown. Side task. Point your left hand to the nose of title Douluo Dalu-themed and shout, is your chrysanthemum alright? Pointing to the title Douluo ghost's body with his right hand, he shouted, have your bones been licked by a dog? Reward the 10,000 year soul beast 6 color sky swallowing python plus 1 year's soul bone, none special parts soul bones. Tail root, Bolingay, can be turned into soul technique, God Eater shield armor, beast pet space. 4 existing, 1 free, beast pets. Little Kaylin, 1000 year soul beast 6 colored sky swallowing python, damning, 10-year-old Azure Bull Python, Erming, 10-year-old Titan Giant Ape, intimate relationship, Xiao Wu, godsister, Hulina, godsister. Bibi Dang, godmother. Please subscribe. Wow. End of this chapter. Chapter 191, the grand occasion at the gate of Shrek Academy. Oscar looked at his panel and felt elation in his heart. This time entering the Stardao Great Forest, Oscar's gains can be said to be too great. Not to mention the third spirit ring, his spirit power level has also been raised to level 39. Oscar knows that he still needs more energy to reach level, a period of time. In addition, he also took in 2 beast pets that were so powerful that they exploded. It seems that they are not awesome, they are bullheaded. Anyway, they are beast pets that are so powerful that they explode, but the hard thing is that they cannot be brought out. This makes Oscar very uncomfortable. But what made Oscar happy was that he met Bibidang and Hulina. These 2 are first class beauties, and these 2 beauties were the ones who attacked him first. Like Hulina fell from the sky on him, he came here, but Bibidang hugged him first. He was just pushing the boat with the current. It was very bitter, but now when Oscar thinks about meeting them next time, he feels that it is quite embarrassing. Forget it. Why think so much? I don't believe that my charismatic attribute can't subdue these 2 goblins. So what about the Pope and the Saint? It's not my woman. As the saying goes, men are women's heaven. Can they go against the sky? Oscar and Xiao Wu spent a day resting in the small town. Of course, it didn't take such a long time to recover their soul and physical strength. The 2 of them mainly wanted to spend their honeymoon point while they're here. Isn't it just for honeymoon? After a few days of lingering honeymoon, Oscar and Xiao Wu still set foot on their way home. After more than 1 day's journey, the 2 of them walked for more than 5 days abruptly, and Xiao Wu's soul power also increased to about 24. Xiao Wu's soul power can only be increased by eating Oscar's food. Existence is still much worse. Even so, Xiao Wu's soul power growth rate is much stronger than other little monsters in Shrek Academy. After all, Oscar's frying pan is not for nothing, especially since he has a new kitchen utensil, the dragon pot of course. This Zuan pot can only be used for soup, and Oscar's favorite drink is a balloon soup, which is very delicious. Oscar and Xiao Wu came to the gate of Shrek Academy, looked at the pink gate, felt very friendly with the lively crowd at the gate. For him this was his home. This is the feeling of coming home. The gate of the academy became extremely popular because of the declaration of love that was widely circulated, and the teachers of Shrek Academy also started a side job for this. Of course, their side job was carried out without delaying the students' cultivation. But today, there are more people at the gate than in the past, because Shrek Academy has launched a large-scale promotional activity today. Buy 1 get 1 free for everything, and it's only for this day. This idea is of course the Dean of Shrek Academy, Frank, who is looking for money. It was Flender who came up with it. Flender found that there are a lot of people coming recently, but very few people come to buy things. Of course, the people who buy less things are buying less of his things, because the things he sells are all messy and small items, and they are also very expensive. Who has the money to buy them all the time? It's better to buy some jelly beans, small sticks, utensils that can enhance the mood of both parties. It's an object, definitely an object. Buying these things is so real. It can not only improve the atmosphere, but also spend less money, which is better than buying his crap. That's why Flender was very distressed. He thought of countless ways for this, and even figured out small gadgets such as scratches, small leather whips, and small spikes. They are small objects. Although these things are very good, there are very few people who buy them, because people who come here believe in love, who can blatantly buy them from an old man like him. So he came up with the idea of this big promotion. This buy 1 get 1 free was designed for him, because it doesn't have much effect on other people's products. For example, Xiaozin's jelly beans are bought for fun. It's okay to give away one or the other, but Li Yusang's small stick can be given as a gift for wool, so it can't be landed or watered. It goes without saying that other people sell it, so Flender's promotional activity is completely designed for him. Of course, the other teachers know what he thinks, but they just don't say it. After all, it's enough for the dean and the F***K to be points now. If the dean is angry with them, they will have 3 or 7 4, or 6, or not let them engage in side jobs. Then they will have no place to cry if they want to. Flender was grinning all the time because he got rich today. He got rich. Congratulations on getting rich. Looking at the crowd, Oscar and Xiao Wu were really friendly at first, but in the blink of an eye, they were buzzing with the noise. This is a vegetable market. You don't need money to buy things, do you? Because of the dense crowd, the two of them couldn't see the bad old men in the academy at all, and those bad old men didn't have time to look at them, and they didn't know they were back. Oscar dragged Xiao Wu to Flender's booth, and Xiao Wu asked mischievously, "Hey boss Four Eyes, how do you sell this little leather whip?" Flender was taking care of other customers with eyes open. More precisely, he was looking for money. He said casually without even looking at it, "This is called a flirty little leather whip, a stick of 10 silver soul coins. Today's big sale to buy one get one free. Whoever buys it is suitable. One in each hand is so cool." Oscar joked, "A small leather whip sells for 10 silver soul coins. I just take it at Suhubeo." "That's right, it's too expensive. Boss Four Eyes, what you sell here is too shady. You are a shady shop," Xiao Wu said with disgust. Flender felt a little annoyed when he heard the sound of finding fault. Who dares to find fault at the gate of his Shrek Academy? It's really courting death. However, blinking his eyes in the next moment, felt something was wrong. The voice was a little immature, and it sounded very familiar, so he turned his head quickly and looked over. His old eyes saw Oscar and Xiao Wu really smiling at him, and the copper soul coin in Flender's hand immediately dropped, making a clattering sound. "Son, daughter-in-law, you are back," Flender shouted excitedly. While shouting, he immediately threw away the booth in front of him, and excitedly opened his arms, to hold Oscar in his arms. Oscar surprisingly didn't resist this time, and of course he couldn't. Although Flender was a little out of character, his feelings for Oscar were real. "Stinky old man, I'm not your son. You want to strangle me to death." Flender's move of the booth startled the people around him, thinking that this narrow-minded boss is crazy, seeing that his son didn't even do business. And the other teachers were also moved because of the director's direction. They released their martial spirits one after another, and they came to Flender's booth in the blink of an eye. Xiao Wu feels very speechless now. She and her big brother just teased Flender. Why are these stinky old men so excited? The guy welcomes them with several rings. Oscar waved his hands at the old men and said, "Hi those old men with rings. Please subscribe. Please subscribe." End of this chapter. Chapter 192. Flender cried. "Ah!" Shrek's teachers exclaimed. They showed all their weapons, and it turned out that they were their own people, or people who were so selfish that they could no longer be their own. Oscar, Xiao Wu, when did you guys come back? Li Yusang exclaimed. He raised the stick just now and almost yelled to eat mildly, but it was Oscar and Xiao Wu who immediately threw his stick in excitement. And the rest of the teachers surrounded Oscar and Xiao Wu, asking questions and caring. Oscar and Xiao Wu went out saying they were on their honeymoon, but in fact they went to practice. Although their strength is not bad, and there is a 10,000-year soul beast called Xiao Kailin, they are really too young. They are really quite worried. However, they were very surprised that Oscar and Xiao Wu could come back so quickly, because they had been out for less than half a month, and this honeymoon seemed a bit short. Seeing the excitement of these teachers, Oscar immediately felt very helpless. I had only been away for a few days, and it seemed like I hadn't seen each other for several years. Oscar pointed to their booth and said, "That bad old man, did you say that your business is gone? When we get back, Xiao Wu and I will tell you." These bad old men listened to Oscar's words, followed his finger to look. Good guy, their booth is still there intact. But the customers selling goods or the villagers who came here to set up small stalls, they all hid in one place. That place was very familiar to Oscar and Xiao Wu, because that place was the exclusive place for them to eat watermelon. Teachers like Shaozin, Li Yusang and the others suddenly released their soul power and created 6 or 7 rings. Could this not scare them? Although there are people here who know their strength, it doesn't mean that, after seeing them once, they won't be afraid the second time. After all, they are soul emperors and soul saints. This is an existence that they will not be able to touch in 8 lifetimes. After seeing this scene, the teachers put away their martial souls and soul rings one after another, and immediately became amiable bosses again. They showed a friendly smirk, returned to the booth, and started selling. Oscar patted Flender on the big shoulder. "Four-eyed uncle, you should let go. These people are here." It's embarrassing. Flender let go of Oscar after hearing Oscar's words. He stared at Oscar and said in surprise, "My boy, have you become much stronger? Let's talk about that when we go back. Don't you think it would be better to pick up your junk first?" Oscar waved his hand. Flender was too excited just now, and now he suddenly realized that he seemed to have thrown all his treasures just now, and they were all golden soul coins. His face suddenly became very bitter, because there were still some small bottles and small jars in his booth, and because of his muttering, these small bottles and small jars were broken all over the floor. "Oh, my little thing." Flender fell to the ground and began to cry, clapping his hands to the sky. The crying was so miserable. Oscar and Xiao Wu feel very ashamed now. They really want to say that we don't know him, but it's too late. Just now they hugged and hugged. Even their son and daughter-in-law called out this. "Besides, if you don't know who you can trust." Oscar patted his forehead helplessly. Sure enough, these people's personalities haven't changed a bit after being away for so many days. If you can't hide, you can face it calmly. So he stretched out his hands to help Flender pick up the little things he was selling. Xiao Wu also joined in, and the picture gradually became a little warmer. "Sister Wu, Boss Ao, you are back. Ha 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 ha. How did you come back and bring us a big nephew?" At this time, the voices of two big fools came from the gate. Oscar looked over there. These two idiots are not others. One is Damu Bei, the other is Mahanjan. These two idiots must have heard the wind and ran out of the academy. "Are you alright, Xiaode, pony?" Oscar said to them with a particularly high attitude. The corners of Damu Bei's and Mahanjan's mouths twitched at the same time. This AO boss is not in a good mood, right? This is really uncomfortable, but they didn't dare to refute. After all, this is the big monster among their little monsters, and he was annoyed that he dared to let the 10,000-year soul beast entangle you. So he asked you if you were afraid. Xiao Wu heard Mahanjan's ridicule, and in an instant, came behind Mahanjan and gave him a waist bow. Of course, this waist bow was not released with soul power. If she released it with soul power, then this Mahanjan would be useless. Unsurprisingly, there was a scream, and Mahanjan's face just touched the pillar of the main gate of Shrek Academy, rolled his eyes, stretched out his tongue, and fell limp. Damu Bei's eyes became very dignified. Mahanjan's spirit power level had risen to 14th level in the past half a month, and a 6-year-old 14th level soul master was also a terrifying existence, and his martial spirit it's still Huo Fengliang. This is a top level martial spirit, but he didn't react at all, and was kicked away by Xiao Wu without using his soul power. The most important thing is that with his current level 26 spirit power, he has never seen how Xiao Wu made a move. This is only half a month, and her strength has improved significantly, so her spirit power level has increased again. How much? After reaching level 20, it is very difficult to increase his soul power by 1 level. For example, in the past half a month, although his soul power has increased, it has not increased to the level of 1 level. This made Damu Bei very curious. What kind of strength improvement did Xiao Wu and Oscar have during the half month they went out? Not only him, but also the teachers of Shrek Academy were also very curious. They saw Xiao Wu's actions just now, and 3 words appeared in their minds. It's become stronger again. In the past half a month, Shrek Academy did not increase the number of students unexpectedly. After all, the requirements of Shrek Academy are really too high. Talents who meet the requirements of entry will never come to this place. Isn't it good to study in the academy? When night fell, Oscar and Xiao Wu were escorted to the cafeteria of Shrek Academy, as if they were prisoners being escorted. This time, all the teachers of the academy were present, including Xiao Walqi and other new teachers. They surprisingly held back the gluttons in their stomachs, and surprisingly didn't let Oscar cook dinner. After all, compared to the greedy worms, their curious cats are bigger, and they are very curious about what these 2 big monsters will gain. After going out this trip, Oscar and Xiao Wu stared at the wolf-like people next to them, and they really couldn't understand what they meant. But Oscar was really worried about their little hearts. If he wanted to tell the truth, would they take them? The little heart was scared out. Although Xiao Wu knew what they were thinking, she didn't care about them. She picked up a big and fluffy steamed bun, and gnawed on it. Happy Valentine's Day everyone. Woohoo, I want to go out for a big meal. End of this chapter. Chapter 193. I wish the lovers in the world will eventually become brothers and sisters. In contrast to Xiao Wu, who was eating a big steamed bun, Oscar looked at them calmly. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm hungry, but the food at home is delicious. I miss the food cooked by teacher Xiao outside. I'm gonna start now. Wait. This is a collective harmony, and it's still a tenor voice, which is extraordinarily loud and deep. The sound startled Xiao Wu. She almost choked. She quickly took a sip of the salt soda. Xiao Wu said angrily, "What are you guys doing? Don't you just want to know how much the strength of my big brother and I have improved?" A group of teachers including Damu Bei and Mahanjan nodded together. Their heads were nodding like kowtowing bugs. They looked extraordinarily well behaved and obedient. Their current appearance, especially like a group of idiots, looks ridiculous. Xiao Wu said casually, "Actually, my soul power level hasn't improved much. I've only just reached level 24. Everyone nodded and thought, oh, only level 24. Fuck, something's wrong. Level 24. Everyone asked in surprise. Point among them. Damu Bei's voice is the loudest. Xiao Wu's strength was only level 22 before leaving, and it took only half a month to increase to level 24, which means that she only took half a month to improve a full 2 levels. What kind of rocket is driving at this speed? A 6-year-old level 24 soul master? Who would believe this? Xiao Wu picked up a carrot and took a bite, making a crunchy sound, and then said sweetly with her small mouth puffed up, "That's right, I've only raised 2 levels." The word talent was spoken casually by Xiao Wu, but it was very heavy in everyone's ears. This is so stupid. Damu Bei feels that he is still some kind of little monster now. He is completely like a monster now. What a waste. When I went out for a half-moon honeymoon, I was promoted by 2 levels. He didn't know how much suffering he had gone through before he came here from the Star Luo Empire, and it took him so many and a half months, but his soul power level has only increased by 1 level, so he feels that he is not even as good as a waste. But Mahanjan, who is also a little monster, sees it much more clearly. He doesn't compare himself with these 2 perverts at all. They have just awakened to level martial arts, and I just force myself to be full of souls congenitally. Power. This is better than wool. Let's compare it with the yellow hair next to it. I should try my best to catch up with him. Although the teachers were surprised by Xiao Wu's improvement, they were still more curious about Oscar's 3rd soul skill. After all, Oscar was at level 29 when he left. Now that he has returned, he must have reached the realm of the Soul Master. Do you still have to guess? When you reach level 31, they didn't think that Oscar's spirit power level would exceed level 31 at all, because it only took half a month to reach level 29 from level 31, which was enough to shock the world. Oscar saw their eyes shifted to him. Of course he wouldn't tell the truth. If he wanted to say that my soul power had reached level 39, it wouldn't scare the teachers to death. And now there are new students in the academy. Here comes the teacher. He couldn't guarantee that these new teachers would keep his secret. Although these new teachers hadn't left Shrek Academy yet, one more person who knew about them would be more dangerous. With a serious expression on his face, he sighed and said, "Oh, I know you are all curious about my soul power level and 3rd soul ability, but my 3rd soul ability is really too bad." As some bad old teachers who knew him well, they could tell something was wrong with Oscar at a glance, because Oscar's soul skills couldn't possibly be inferior, but he had the existence of a 10,000-year soul beast called Little Kalin, and the level of the soul beast he hunted and killed was absolutely, if it won't be low, then his soul skills will definitely not be weak. They understood Oscar's thoughts in an instant. Oscar didn't want to tell the whole truth. They immediately understood. This is to tell them privately in the future. Oscar's small face was very bitter and said, "You also know that my soul power has been raised to level inadvertently in the academy. Xiao Wu and I went out for our honeymoon, so we went to Notting City. Oh, by the way, four-eyed uncle, fat uncle, guess who's Aozhou? And I saw in Notting City? The teachers are very confused. Is he talking about the child? If you don't pay attention, why do you say it so heavily? And the honeymoon we all know. What we want to know is your third soul ability. Why did it suddenly get interrupted and run on the body of the acquaintance? Flender and Aozhou were also very confused. Did Oscar and Aozhou meet their acquaintances in Notting City? They came to meet not many acquaintances. Could it be Little Orange? The corner of Oscar's mouth twitched. These two guys didn't look at the occasion. Even if I saw Xiaocheng, what can I say? So he shook his head. Vlad and Aozhou's eyes lit up suddenly, and they said again, that can't be the little crispy tiger bun. Yastip. Oscar was really speechless to these two old men. Their minds were all about those nasty things. How tacky. By the way, my family is better than Bibidong and Hulina. Do they both miss my hands and little lips? Are they thinking of me now? Oscar said very seriously. What Aozhou and I saw was a soul master with soul power, not an ordinary person. A person suddenly appeared in the minds of Flender and Aozhou, and they immediately exclaimed, Liu Erlang. The corner of Oscar's mouth twitched. Okay, I discovered another shocking secret. These two old men actually like Liu Erlang. Needless to say, Flender, his curse wishing all lovers to become brothers and sisters was really successful. But Aozhou also likes Liu Erlang, which surprised Oscar. The reason why Oscar was sure that Aozhou also liked Liu Erlang was of course because Flender and Aozhou knew soul masters together. There were not many soul masters, most of them were heritage. Besides these teachers, there were only Liu Erlang and Yu Xiaogang who formed a team with them. But the first thing Aozhou thought of just now was actually Liu Erlang. That means Liu Erlang was all in his mind. That's why he and Flender said Liu Erlang's name together. Oscar smiled playfully. It's not her. Oscar's smile made Flender feel that something was wrong. He looked at Aozhou strangely. It was normal for me to pronounce Liu Erlang's name, but Aozhou also followed suit. It's okay. Even if Flender beat him to death, he wouldn't believe it. Flender's head was dizzy. Could this be a story that a small team, 3 men and 1 woman had to tell? This is really whoever strikes first is the strongest. You must be the first to start. Seize the opportunity. This can fully prove that there are no so-called male girlfriends who want to be with you. So Flender said silently in his heart at this moment, may lovers in the world become brothers and sisters. I wish lovers in the world will eventually become brothers and sisters. I wish lovers in the world all become brothers and sisters. The Flanders curse written by my daughter is all fake. My daughter is just joking with you. Happy Valentine's Day everyone. What are you guys waiting for? Today is a good opportunity for you to express your love. Come on. Ali, don't confess to me. End of this chapter. Chapter 194. Oscar comes right away. Since it wasn't the Liu Erlang whom the two of them had longed for day and night, there was only one other person, and that was the rival in love. Great Master? The two called out Yu Xiaogang's title together, giving Yu Xiaogang enough respect. Point of course, it is not certain whether this wetness is that wetness. Guess right. You two are so stupid it took me so long to guess. Aozhou said with a look of disgust. Oscar nodded and said, that's right, it was the master, and then he led us to Notting College, and he said that he would accept us as apprentices. Flender and the others listened to Oscar's narration and ended the incident. It turned out that it was because Yu Xiaogang's Wuhan Luo Sanpao smelled Flender and Aozhou on their bodies, and then they became relatives, and then wanted to accept them as apprentices, but Oscar and Aozhou refused. And met a kid named Tang San, who was also a little monster in Oscar's narration. Flender is too familiar with Yu Xiaogang's integrity. He will definitely bring that little monster Tang San to find him, and after he comes, he will be very aggressive. Come on you 3 guns who robbed my woman. I will definitely make you look good when you come. But this has nothing to do with his own third soul ability. This has not entered the serious topic. After talking for a long time, when everyone was wondering, Oscar finally got to the point. We left Notting College and went to the Stardow Forest. After adding the first spirit ring to Xiaozana, my third spirit ring is a green curly screaming chicken that I hunted. Why are you looking at me like that? Many teachers looked at him suspiciously, a little unclear. So, what kind of soul beast is this green curly screaming chicken? Why they still haven't heard of it? This time Zhao Walqi grinned and replied quickly, look at the discoloration of each of you. The green curly screaming chicken is the emerald chicken. You don't even know this. What a shame. All the teachers picked up a small notebook and memorized it. It turns out that the soul beast has other nicknames. What a waste of time. The emerald chicken must also be a 1,000-year soul beast. Flender said solemnly. Oscar nodded and said, that's right. This is a very strong 1,000-year-old soul beast. Oscar didn't say the age of the emerald chicken. He was afraid that he would scare them if he said it. The third spirit ring is a 6,000-year spirit beast. Can this still be done by one person? Flender thought for a while and asked, as far as I know, if the emerald chicken is more than 1,000 years old, its speed will become extremely fast. Although Zhao Kailin is very powerful, if the emerald chicken wants to run, it should be too fast. Can't catch it. That's right, little Kailin and us did not defeat this emerald chicken, but someone else. That person is Tang San's father. Oscar said without opening his mouth. Tang San's father? The teachers were very puzzled. Who is this Tang San's father? Meeting Tang San's father in the Stardao forest, it proved that Tang San's father was also a soul master, and a very powerful soul master. Otherwise he would never be able to defeat the 1,000-year-old emerald chicken soul beast. That's right, it's Tang San's father. His father is a blacksmith, and uses a big hammer. His name is Tang Heo. Oscar said casually. Oh. Blacksmith Flender nodded. Flender's eyes widened suddenly, and he asked in disbelief, wait, this name seems familiar. What do you think his father's name is? Tang Heo. What's wrong? Oscar said indifferently. Fuck, the teacher suddenly exclaimed. Tang Heo, the clear sky Douluo, is the idol of most men on the mainland. This name is synonymous with the strong. When anyone mentions this name, they dare not call them by their real names. They must call them Clear Sky Douluo or Haoshan Douluo. The crown of heaven came down to address him to show respect for him. But Oscar actually called him by his first name. Why is he so awesome? He is going to heaven. He's Haoshan Douluo, the most powerful man on the mainland. You bastard. You actually call such an awesome person a blacksmith. Zhao Walqi couldn't help complaining. Oscar said casually, I just yelled it, and I yelled it in front of him. And he was very happy. Let his son call Aozhou his sister and me his brother-in-law, saying that we will be a family from now on. You're so stupid. You even helped me hunt down this emerald chicken. At this moment, the teachers have no other words that can describe their thoughts, and there are only two words to describe it. Awesome. So fucking awesome. Soaring to the sky. Go out and meet some relatives. What the hell is Haoshan Douluo? Why don't you fly to the sky? Of course they don't know that Oscar also recognized his younger sister, Hulina, Lion Cairo, Daming and Erming, and his big breast Mombibidang. If they knew, they would definitely be scared to death. Just this Linoop can completely turn Douluo Dalu upside down, scaring anyone to death. Flying mushroom sausage. 2 mushroom sausages appeared in Oscar's hands, and he explained, my third soul skill is flying, with the flying speed of an emerald chicken, and the time limit is 5 minutes. Alright, this is really fucking flying. It's so awesome. It's already flying, and it can fly with the third soul skill, and it can still fly at the speed of the emerald chicken for 5 minutes. This speed is that ordinary contrast can't catch up. Of course, Ling said that he was killed before he could fly. Everyone was digesting what Oscar and Zhao Wu had gained. Damu Bei and Mahanjan no longer compared themselves to this pervert. They were completely incomparable, and this guy's sausage martial spirit could still attack. So I asked you if you were afraid. The image of a huge sausage being thrown at you in the air can make you terrified just thinking about it. After dinner, Oscar and the others returned to their small villa in Notting City. They met their familiar butler Wan K and 4 little maids in spring, summer, autumn and winter. It felt very cordial to be home, and made them feel very comfortable. But this comfortable state did not last long at all, and it was only a few minutes to be precise. Because after a few minutes, Flender and Zhao Wuji, who didn't want Billion, as well as Damu Bei and Mahanjan, all came to look for them quietly. These 4 bastards unexpectedly came chasing them. Of course Oscar understood what they came for. He just wanted to know how old his third spirit ring was. Oscar told them very generously. After all, this cannot be hidden. As long as he releases the soul ring, it will burst out with very powerful soul power. 6,000 years. Flender and the others were stunned. This is a 6,000-year soul beast. Oscar was absorbed in the third spirit ring. He is going to fly into the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun. The third soul ring they know is not more than 500 years old. This Oscar is directly 6,000 years old, and now with his strength, he can completely fight against the strong of the soul sect. Oh, by the way, my soul power has also improved a lot because I absorbed the 6,000-year-old emerald chicken. I raised it to level 39 without paying attention. Woohoo, it's late. End of this chapter. Chapter 195. Oscar had a nightmare. Oscar knew that his soul power reached level 39, and he couldn't hide it from these two bad old men at all. After all, the level of soul power was like something written on his face, and he couldn't escape the eyes of these two bad old men at all. It's better to tell them directly, but there is only one effect of doing so, that is, they don't believe it. This is a joke. How is it possible to go directly from level 39 to level? But they believed it in the next moment, because Oscar released his soul power and soul ring, and also took out a crystal ball. This crystal ball is one level higher than the TH level tested. Kyu can test 40 level soul power. Oscar put his hands on the crystal ball, and immediately the crystal ball emitted a dazzling white light, and the crystal ball was still overflowing, which is enough to prove that Oscar's soul power is infinitely close to the 40th level. Flender and Aozhou were dumbfounded. This is no longer something that can be explained by common sense. There are too many strange things happening to Oscar. Flender, Aozhou, Damu and Mahanjan all had dumbfounded expressions. This information was not something they could digest in a short time. Oscar and Aozhou didn't care about them, so they went back to their own room to sleep. Sleeping in their own home is the most reassuring, because they can just, compared with Oscar and Aozhou sleeping peacefully in the room under the night sky, Flender and Aozhou finally returned to normal. The two old men looked at each other, and they read the meaning of confrontation in each other's eyes. And Damu and Mahanjan's weak hearts have also been greatly hurt. Now they really regret that they shouldn't have followed. Why did they follow to seek guilt? They knew exactly how monstrous Oscar was, but they still came here to seek guilt. Oscar's soul power growth rate is too monstrous. This level of monstrosity has completely broken all the previous limit records on the Douluo continent. They feel that they can bear the title of little monster with their talents, but their qualifications are compared to Oscar's that is simply not as good as trash. I wonder if you have heard of the 9-year-old Hunzun. This shit is too scary, and this is not the scariest thing. The scariest thing is that his soul power level is 39, which can scare people to death. That is to say, he might break through to 40 level soul power, and then he only needs to hunt a soul beast, and add a soul ring, and he can become a soul sect. 9 or 10-year-old soul sects are so fucking crazy that they can fly into the sky. This astonishing cultivation speed is completely a big secret. They looked at Flender and Aozhou in fear, and they found that the eyes of Flender and Aozhou are so wretched and dignified. The 4 eyes blinked and blinked, which was obviously eyebrows, if it was true in normal times, but now they don't think so. Now they all have a very scary idea, that is, these two bad old men will not silence the two of them. After all, compared to Oscar's talent, they are even worse than trash, and now they actually know such a big secret. If they reveal it, it will definitely bring a lot of trouble to Oscar and Aozhou. Even Shrek Academy will so destroyed. Just when they were thinking of this, Flender and Aozhou suddenly looked at the two of them, which made the two of them embrace each other in an instant, and their faces were full of horror. You two deans. Don't worry, our mouths are very strict. Don't kill us. That's right. Dea is right. We didn't hear anything today. Our eyes are blind and our ears are deaf. The two of them looked as cowardly as they wanted, and they didn't even dare to open their eyes to look at Flender and Aozhou. Flender and Aozhou looked at each other with a smile, stretched out their hands and patted their shoulders, and said with a smile, "Ha, when did we say we were going to kill you two? You two are too timid. You two don't need to be intimidated by Oscar's aptitude. On the mainland, Oscar's aptitude is definitely first class. Even Xiaowu is a level behind him, and your aptitude is also very high. It's just a little worse than Xiaowu. You two are also the top little monsters on the continent. Listening to Flender's persuasion, Dame Yubei and Mahanjan's mood suddenly became even more uncomfortable. It turns out that their aptitude is in the third echelon on the Douluo continent. Woo woo woo, what are you still doing in a daze? Find a place to sleep quickly. Tomorrow you two will get up early and start devil training. Zhao Wauqi kicked their buttocks hard with his leg. Understood. Dame Yubei and Mahanjan surprisingly didn't refute or complain this time, because if they didn't work hard, they would be left far away by Oscar and Xiaowu. Although they are still far away now, they still need to work hard, is it right? Flender and Xiaowuji looked at the backs of the two of them and thought, if they practice hard, they may not be far behind Xiaowu, but if they want to catch up with Oscar, it will definitely be harder than reaching the sky point, especially Dame Yubei. His aptitude is still a bit worse than Mahanjan's. The moonlight at night shines on the faces of Oscar and Xiaowu. Oscar is hugging Xiaowu and falling asleep gently and softly. This picture is very warm, but if you watch carefully, you can see that Oscar's brows are tightly wrinkled. He was sleeping, and in his dream he was dreaming that a titled Douluo discovered Xiaowu's identity. Xiaowu was running away crazily, but he didn't know where he was. Xiaowu's expression was very anxious, but the titled Douluo behind him Luo just controlled her in an instant. And when this titled Douluo was about to kill Xiaowu, another group of titled Douluo came. Of course they did not come to save Xiaowu, but to kill Xiaowu. They are fighting for Xiaowu's ownership. But Xiaowu trembled and did not dare to move, waiting for the time to announce her death, which made Oscar sweat profusely, and the dream was still going on, in which a group of people wearing black cloaks appeared again. These people wearing black cloaks are particularly terrifying, because their strength is actually titled Douluo. Oscar instantly confirmed that these people were from the Spirit Hall. These titled Douluo killed the previous titled Douluo in an instant, and in the next instant a group of titled Douluo appeared beside Xiaowu, making Oscar what is puzzling is that the leader of these titled Douluo is actually Bibidong, and she is surrounded by Xiaoju and Xiaogi, which means that the titled Douluo on the opposite side is not from the Spirit Hall. So who are they? And just when he was about to dream about what was going on, he heard someone calling him next to him. Big brother, wake up. Don't scare Xiaowu. The little girl is so hungry, she hasn't eaten yet. Who? End of this chapter. Chapter 196. Arranging Dame Yubei and Mahanjan to run around. Xiaowu's voice came from Oscar's ear. Oscar opened his eyes in a whirl, and he saw Xiaowu looking at him worriedly. Xiaowu leaned close to Oscar's cheek and said, brother, you must be having a nightmare. Don't worry about Xiaowu to death. Look at you. You've wet the quilt, and Xiaowu's body is sticky from you. Oscar felt it, didn't he? He was sweating all over in a nightmare. This dream was too weird. How could there be so many titled Douluo in this Douluo continent? His dream was too scary. There were more titled Douluo than dogs. That's really scary. But because of this nightmare, he was more determined to get the lovesick heartbroken red for Xiaowu, and only by letting Xiaowu hold the lovesick heartbroken red could he feel at ease. Otherwise he would reveal his identity when he met any arbitrary titled Douluo Xiaowu. Although Oscar knew that his body was covered with sweat, he didn't care too much, because such a situation happened to him and Xiaowu. He hugged Xiaowu tightly in his arms. Xiaowu, big brother will definitely protect you. And Xiaowu sweetly agreed in Oscar's arms. In the early morning of the second day, Oscar and Xiaowu opened their hazy eyes at the same time. It hurts. It hurts me too. Because Oscar had a nightmare last night and sweated. Their bodies were stuck together just now. It hurts to tear it off. Hee ha ha ha. They got up quickly, and the maid and housekeeper presented them with an exquisite meal, and their lives were once again upgraded to the life of a rich second generation. As for Flender and the others, they have already gone back to the academy. They are people with side jobs, so of course they have to prepare things. When they go back, they just asked the butler to bring a message, that is, to go to the academy this morning. After they got up, they went to the city lord's mansion. The city lord saw and warmly welcomed them back, and presented a bag of golden soul coins as a welcome gift. Oscar also gave the city lord a few jelly beans to play with. Shaoxin's jelly bean is like a fake existence. If the Star Luo Empire, Qiandao Empire or Wuhandian knew of his miraculous existence, they would definitely send title Douluo to catch him back. The last shelf life is a must-have medicine for war. Oscar is really curious about how he was able to cultivate to over 70 levels. The status of the soul saint of the food system is comparable to the existence of the title Douluo. For example, the status of the soul saint Ningfengzi is even higher than that of the title Douluo, so good point. This Shaoxin is not an easy person at first glance. Oscar and Xiao Wu went to Shrek Academy afterwards. They were students of Shrek Academy, but they had paid. They still had to participate in the training. Although eating his own meals could increase soul power, but it is impossible to increase strength in all directions, such as strength and speed, etc. All need to be improved by training. When Oscar and Xiao Wu came to Shrek Academy, they saw Dame Yubei and Mahanjan standing in the central square. When they saw Oscar and Xiao Wu approaching, they greeted happily from a distance. "Boss Ao, Miss Xiao Wu, you can count on it." Oscar and Xiao Wu were very puzzled. What did they mean they were waiting for them? What is there to wait for? The level of their training is not relative at all. "Are you two waiting for us?" Oscar asked suspiciously. Dame Yubei nodded and said, "That's right. Boss Ao told us this morning that today's training courses are for you to arrange for us, saying that we can quickly improve our strength according to the items you usually practice." Oscar said in surprise, "I'll arrange it? Then what are these teachers doing?" Mahanjan pointed at a group of teachers not far away who were tinkering with something, and said, "Isn't this something to be prepared for a while? It's like this every day." After explaining how the two of us train, let the new teacher look at us, and then they go out and set up a side business. Oscar couldn't help but admire this group of teachers who didn't want billion. They didn't care about those seniors who died tragically before, but now they don't even care about Dame Yubei and Mahanjan. These two belong to little monsters. Forget it. Just leave it alone. Anyway, even if the two of them cultivated by themselves, there wouldn't be much difference. By the way, they didn't make less money from their side jobs. Why didn't they rebuild the Shrek Academy's house? Oscar looked at the Shrek Academy that was still the same as before and said speechlessly. Mahanjan replied happily, "Teacher, he said that Shrek Academy will definitely change places in the future, so there is no need to go to war here at all." Oh. Oscar narrowed his eyes. It seems that this Flender looks like he is throwing his hands away, but he has already planned their path to Shrek Academy. Oscar nodded to them and said, "Okay. The dean asked me to arrange your classes, so I will arrange your classes for you two today." Dame Yubei and Mahanjan were looking forward to what Oscar would arrange for them. After all, Oscar's speed of improving his spirit power was obvious to all. He definitely had some special secret. "Big brother, why don't you let the two of them wash the dishes too?" Xiao Wu suggested from the side. Dame Yubei and Mahanjan looked confused. "What do you mean, do the dishes? What kind of unique training method is this? Don't really let them do the dishes." Oscar shook his head when he heard Xiao Wu's suggestion. "Xiao Wu, they already have soul power now. Washing dishes can no longer help their training." When Xiao Wu heard that washing the dishes was not good, she had a flash of inspiration and said with a happy smile, "Then if you can't do the dishes, then go to the ground. As the saying goes, there are only exhausted cows and there is no ground that is damaged." The training style really suits them. Dame Yubei and Mahanjan shook their heads vigorously. They really didn't want to push the ground. It's okay for them to help with some farm work at ordinary times, but if this is dry ground, they will definitely die of exhaustion point. If it was a different land, they would be willing, even if they were exhausted. After all, one of them was young Master Day and the other was Zhuo Phoenix. Oscar agrees with Xiao Wu's unique way of cultivation, but since he said it now, it's meaningless, and he will let them push the ground in the afternoon. It's still morning, and they still need to do morning jogs. Let's not use the ground for the time being. We haven't been around the village for half a month. Let's go around together today, Oscar said very flatly. Although what he said was very clean, Dame Yubei and Mahanjan didn't think this would be a normal training method. Sure enough, in the next moment, Oscar said very seriously, "Our training class this morning is to carry out physical training. From now on, we will run around the entire village for 20 laps. Remember, it is a fast run, the kind of run to death. If you two don't finish by noon, then you don't have to eat at noon. 20 laps. Boss Ao, are you going to kill me? Mahanjan asked in disbelief. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197. Daemyu and Mahanjan hug the ground. No wonder Mahanjan was so surprised. After all, his soul power level has not yet reached level, that is to say, he has not yet reached the realm of a great soul master. Even if you fly, you can't finish running. However, although these 20 laps were not easy for Daemyu, a level 25 great soul master, they could still be completed, so Daemyu didn't say anything. But just because he didn't show a difficult look, Oscar continued, Xiao, since you are a level 25 great soul master, you should run 25 laps. Don't worry, you won't run by yourself. Xiao and I will run too. Daemyu face turned bitter in an instant. MMP, this boss Ao is even more ruthless than the dean and the others. This is really fatal. If he really finishes these laps, then he won't have any lunch at noon, and he will be exhausted. But since even the girl Xiao followed her, it would be too timid for him to say that he disagreed. It seems that there is a reason why she is strong. If she pushes her limit day and night, can she not be strong? Why do I want to night after night? Although the village, where Shrek Academy is located, is not big, there is a lot of arable land outside the village, and the distance of this circle must be at least 4 kilometers. 20 circles is a very scary number, and Daemyu 25 laps can completely make him feel miserable, and if Mahanjan wants to run down, it will be a rhythm that is almost exhausting. Mahanjan was originally very fat, and he was too unwilling to do such things as running. Mahanjan asked in a dejected manner, how far will Douluo go in this lap? You live in the village every day, don't you know how far it is? Asking that nonsense, you'll run out of time to talk. Daemyu said impatiently. They backed off, after running a lap. Last night, the two of them agreed to follow Xiaowu's footsteps together. What about perseverance? Did you get lost? After throwing down these words, Daemyu took the lead, and left him behind. Mahanjan's face became even more bitter, because he didn't have any friends to accompany him. Daemyu is much more aggressive than Mahanjan. He is a person with a goal, and his goal is to surpass his elder brother. Then he was crowned the prince point. If he keeps slacking off, he won't be able to surpass his eldest brother at all. At noon, Daemyu and Mahanjan lay on the ground with their tongues out and rolled their eyes. Oscar directly poured a bucket of salt soda on them and gave each of them a recovery sausage. The effect of this recovery sausage is not too good. It is an excellent medicine to restore physical strength. This familiar taste makes their physical strength recover quickly, and the moment their physical strength recovers, they feel that their soul power also increases. Yes, Daemyu directly broke through level 25, reaching level 26. The effect of this training is really astonishing, not to mention Daemyu. Even Oscar is very surprised. It is too coincidental that this breakthrough is suitable for catching up. Isn't this telling him that he is pretending to be aggressive against I not bad for me? Compared with Daemyu breakthrough, although Mahanjan's soul power has also increased, but he has not yet reached the point of breakthrough. If he can break through after running for half a day, then he has already gone running. Who still meditates to cultivate soul power. As for the two of them, Xiaowu is much better. Although Xiaowu's spirit power is not as good as Daemyu's, her speed is unrivaled. Let alone 25 laps, even laps is enough for her. There is nothing difficult, not to mention that her elder brother ran together holding her little hand. A couple of young couples were running outside the small village. What a romantic thing this is. The afternoon class is a class to exercise strength, endurance, and perseverance. You'd better be fully prepared, Oscar said seriously. Daemyu and Mahanjan experienced good training results in the morning. They obeyed Oscar's words, and they were looking forward to this class that could train the three-body. Just exercising physical strength in the morning can increase so much soul power. Wouldn't the harvest be even greater? so they looked forward to it, very much looking forward to it, followed Oscar out of the college cafeteria with great anticipation, and then Oscar led them to the cultivated field outside the village that they had seen more than 20 times in the morning. Daemube and Mahanjan are the fruit of the stupid tree. What does this mean? Oscar said to the bewildered Daemube and Mahanjan, the project to exercise your strength, perseverance and endurance is to turn over the ground. You just need to help the villagers turn over the ground with agricultural tools. Then your training today, even if it is completed, of course. If you do not complete the training course today, then tomorrow will be doubled. Boss Ao, you really want us to bury the ground? Daemube and Mahanjan said in disbelief. Oscar waved his hand and said, how can this be called digging? It's digging. It's helping others to dig up the land. Now is a good time to plant seeds. The villagers provide us with free food every day. Don't you think so? Don't you want to do something for the villagers? Do you have complaints? Don't you want to give back to these lovely villagers? Daemube, good guy Mahanjan, good guy, this great righteousness has been made. If they refuse, and let the villagers know, Shrek Academy will definitely have to buy their own food in the future. It will definitely be quite difficult, because the two of them have no money, they can only pay with flesh. So the two of them started the trip to the ground very obediently, and Xiaowu let out a pleasant laugh beside him. Big brother, look how ugly they are when they ground the ground. At this moment, Daemube and Mahanjan both wanted to die. It was really embarrassing. Oscar and Xiaowu ran with them in the morning. How come they didn't even move in the afternoon? And they are still eating on the side. They are very familiar with this thing, because it is a white, big, and soft steamed bun. The favorite of these two people who spread dog food everywhere is this big steamed bun. And every time they still choke dryly. They don't even drink soup. Occasionally they take a sip of salt soda, and they spit it out. I don't know how they do it. They often choke on steamed buns. Daemube and Mahanjan suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Could choking on steamed buns also increase their soul power? So in the days that followed, they also began to like to choke on the big steamed buns. I don't know if it was their subconscious cognition or what. Anyway, they felt that their soul power increased very quickly after eating the big steamed buns. Oscar was very speechless about their actions. My steamed buns can really enhance the soul power. You guys are really choking. Really admire how they did it. Comparing the training of the little monsters here, Tang Sans was really suffering. He was treated cruelly by the master, cleaning the playground, cleaning the toilet. Anyway, let him do whatever he can. But because of this, Tang San's spirit power was about the same as Mahanjan's, and his spirit power had also reached level 13. Open the arch. End of this chapter. Chapter 198, leaving Shrek Academy again. Of course Tang San was not the worst. The worst thing was that his father Tang Heo came to him suddenly one night. At that time, he was covered with a quilt, and he was reading the book The Sun Shines on a Grass, while his little hands were still moving, and he whispered the name of Ayan in his mouth. One can imagine how Tang Heo was at that time. What kind of mood? So Tang San, although the hard-working master was not approached by Bibidan with fantasy of embracing left and right, Tang Heo approached him with The Sun Shines on a Grass and asked loudly, "Why did you have me write it? Book of?" The master was so frightened that he burst into tears, knelt on the ground and cried, "I'm a pirated version. You also know how rampant the pirated version is." So Tang Heo forgave him, that's all. Anyway, his book is not popular, so let's pirate it. After 3 months. In these 3 months, the most important thing is not how much their soul power has increased. The most important thing is that they have grown 1 year longer. Daemube is 12 years old this year. His spirit power has increased by another level in these 3 months, reaching level 27. Mahanjan's soul power has also increased to level 17. His growth rate surprised even Oscar. This fat man's talent is really strong. As long as he works hard, his progress will be the fastest point, and his so-called evil fire has not been ignited yet. And Xiaowu's spirit power level speed is of course extremely fast. Her spirit power level is directly the same as Daemube's, reaching level 27 spirit power. Of course her level 27 is different from Daemube's, because it only takes a few more days to break through again. and Oscar is the slowest among them to break through because his soul power has only broken through one level in these 3 months. Of course, this is also because his soul power has reached level 39, and after reaching level, he needs to hunt soul beasts and add soul rings. And his soul power level has also successfully broken through to level a few days ago, and now he only needs to add a soul ring, then he will become a soul sect. And the reason why he didn't attach a spirit ring after reaching level was because he didn't plan to take Xiao Wu with him this time. He went out this time to prepare by himself, because besides attaching a spirit ring, he still has to help Xiao Wu get that lovesick heartbroken red. Love sickness broken heart is in Poison Douluo's medicine garden, and Poison Douluo is a titled Douluo. He can definitely see Xiao Wu's identity at a glance. If he takes Xiao Wu there, then their fate can be imagined, and they will definitely die. It's miserable. He doesn't think that Tang San's charm can make him and the poisonous Douluo Dogubo become good friends for forgetting years. Dogubo is not as docile as in the anime. If you say he is gentle when you play drugs, that is definitely the funniest joke. Of course Xiao Wu also understood what her big brother was going to do, but she didn't stop her because she knew her big brother. He said he would protect her. If she stopped her, it would only hurt big brother's heart. Although she really wanted to go with her big brother, but that would only add trouble to her big brother. Big brother, you must come back alive. Xiao Wu is waiting for you at home. Xiao Wu cried in Oscar's arms. This time, there is no need to leave the Stardao forest for a few days before. This time Oscar will definitely not be away for a short time, because the soul beast he wants to hunt this time must be as fast as 10,000 years old. Almost 10,000 years old soul beasts are not so easy to hunt and this time I have to take the love sickness heartbroken red. It will definitely not be that simple. Oscar held Xiao Wu in his arms, and he was also reluctant to part with Xiao Wu, but he also had to leave Xiao Wu temporarily for Xiao Wu's safety. All of this was due to him being too weak. Xiao Wu, don't worry, I will definitely come back with Acacia broken heart. When Oscar left, he also bid farewell to the teachers and students of Shrek Academy, and he didn't say much to Flender, because he knew that Flender looked out of tune, but his feelings for the two of them were really true. It's so deep. Flender will definitely protect Xiao Wu. His strength as a soul sage, and there are 2 soul sages, Xiao Wuji and Xiaozin. Even if Contra comes here, it won't work. Oscar left Shrek Academy resolutely. He didn't even dare to turn his head, because he was afraid that he would be reluctant to leave once he turned around. Xiao Wu was looking at the back of Oscar leaving, crying like pear blossoms and rain, and the people on the side didn't know how to comfort him. As Flender, who regarded Xiao Wu as his daughter-in-law, he certainly couldn't bear her to be so persistent. I cried. He said helplessly, Xiao Wu, don't worry. Oscar's strength is very strong now, and he is guarded by Xiao Kailin by his side. You should rest assured of his safety. The most important thing for you now is tell him not to worry about you. Xiao Wu nodded. When she heard Flender's words, she really shouldn't cry. Her strength is still too weak. She must seize the time to practice before. She only ate the food made by Oscar, and she had never practiced it. Now she decided to do both. She must try her best to catch up with her big brother, and not become a drag on her big brother. Xiao Wu's eyes became extremely firm. She showed a sweet smile, and looked at Flender and said, "For-eyed uncle, I will live in Shrek Academy from now on, and I will work hard to cultivate. Practice hard." Flender and the others were very confused. What do you mean? Your soul power has grown so fast, but in the end this is still the result of your lack of hard work in cultivation. If you worked hard in cultivation, you would not be able to fly. This means that Xiao Wu's aptitude is no worse than Oscar's. She just acts very delicate in front of Oscar. Fuck, this is too scary. But Flender is quite happy, because his son and daughter-in-law are such peerless monsters. How many good things he has done in his previous life. He looked at Xiao Wu's back and laughed haha, then turned his head to look at Damu Bei and Mahanjan, who were in a daze. The more he watched, the more he was dissatisfied. These 2 little monsters still had time to be here in a daze. Pang Pang. Flender rewarded them with a flying kick. You 2 still have time to stay here in a daze. No matter how hard you try, you will be dragged away. Don't you know how to be anxious? Damubei and Mahanjan's complexions are very bad. Is this something in a hurry? People can surpass them if they don't practice hard, but they can't catch up even if they practice hard. This is the reason for their aptitude. Compared to other geniuses on the continent, they are indeed extremely talented, but compared to Oscar and Xiao Wu, they are green curly screaming chickens, can't cook anymore. But they weren't discouraged either. After all, they were also known as little monsters. They had already set Xiao Wu as their target. Even if they couldn't overtake, they couldn't be left behind by Xiao Wu. Looking at the backs of these little monsters, Flender felt very relieved. It seems that I, Shrek, will become the No Academy in the Douluo continent. Wow, ha 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 ha. After seeing Flender's crazy laugh, the rest of the teachers laughed too, because they felt that they had picked up a treasure, and this Shrek Academy was the best treasure on the Douluo continent. End of this chapter. Chapter 199 SYLVESTER and -039 S Great Soul Arena. After Oscar left Shrek Academy, he set out for this destination, the Sunset Forest. According to his memory, the Ice and Fire Yangai Eye of Poison Douluo's medicine garden was located in the Sunset Forest, and it was in the shape of mountain. It is up to him to find the exact location. The Sunset Forest is located 100 miles east of the Heaven Dao city of the Heaven Dao Empire, and it is one of the few wild soul beast settlements in the Heaven Dao Empire. Although the area itself is not as huge as the Star Dao Great Forest, there are many high-level beasts in its soul beast. Therefore, if Oscar wants to go to the Sunset Forest, he still needs to go through the stop of Xiandao City, and if Oscar wants to go to Xiandao City, he still needs to leave the territory of Berek Kingdom first, and then cross the entire Sylph's Kingdom north of Berek Kingdom, in order to enter the Imperial City Circle of the Heaven Dao Empire. Further to the east is the Xiandao City, the Imperial City of the Xiandao Empire. This journey is quite long, nearly 2,000 miles in full, which shows a huge land area of the Xiandao Empire. Fortunately, he has the existence of flying sausages. He can leap quickly with only one stick, and of course he needs to replenish his soul power. After a day, Oscar has arrived at the capital of the Kingdom of Sylvis, Sylvie. In Sichuan, Oscar found a hotel here and stayed. This Sylph's Kingdom is not much different in size from the Berek Kingdom, but the people here make Oscar feel a little unrestrained, because the hotel he was staying in was not soundproof. He heard some blushing cries from time to time, which annoyed Oscar very much, and made him sleepless in this dark night. So he decided to go outside for a while, saying that the big spirit fighting field here seems to be very interesting. Do you want to enjoy the feeling of making money? Comparing to this big soul fighting field, there seems to be a group of big bosses called the Fierce God Team. By the way, the guy named Mengli should be in his 20s now. Thinking of this, Oscar walked towards the big spirit fighting arena, and walked through the noisy street. Oscar came to this big spirit fighting arena. Of course, he must come to the main fighting spirit area. When he comes here, it's very lively here today. Everyone around is talking about how cruel a team called Fierce Goddies. It's just that the newly formed team kills the rest of the team all the way. That's right, it's an instant kill. It's killing. There are no survivors left at all. They are all walking to the place where they bet. The Great Soul Arena often organizes some exciting competitions, so that they can get more awards from them, and today's battle was definitely organized by the Great Soul Arena. Because the opponent of the Fierce God Team is the Murderer Team that is more brutal than the Fierce God Team. This Murderer Team has the lowest odds before the Fierce God Team, so it goes without saying how strong they are. And Oscar, as an existence who is familiar with the plot, of course he knows who will win. Although this fierce team has not fought many times, their ferocity is obvious to all. It will also be wiped out by the Fierce God Team. The Killing God Team pays 2, while the Vicious God Team pays 2. At the moment, when Oscar was watching the excitement, the odds of the Vicious God Team have risen to 2, and the odds are still going on the rise. This made the corner of Oscar's mouth reveal a smile. Isn't this big soul fighting arena giving him money? Oscar walked to the betting point of the Vicious God Team and said, "I'll buy gold soul coins, and the Vicious God will stand in line." The lady in charge of the staff here suddenly woke up in a daze. She wondered if she heard it wrong. The kid in front of him actually said that he wanted to buy gold soul coins for the Fierce God Team. This kid is so rich. What? In other words, he has nowhere to spend his money. The little sister asked curiously. What did you say, little brother? How much do you want to buy? Oscar frowned at this silly young lady. He said impatiently, I said I want to buy gold soul coins, and the vicious team will win. Didn't you hear clearly, young lady? The young lady who worked here swallowed a mouthful of saliva. She thought, that's gold soul coins. How could it be possible? Even though the Sylph's Great Soul Arena is the largest one in the Sylph's Kingdom, betting up to gold soul coins seems to have happened only a few times. This little brother said that he has gold soul coins. Why is it so unbelievable? And after Oscar said the number, the people who bet on the killing team over there pointed at Oscar and laughed. Of course, most of the people who laughed were that the kid was lying, and they didn't believe it at all. Oscar will have gold soul coins, and he will foolishly buy fierce gods to win. At this moment, there was a very rough voice. Where did this little brat brazenly say that he has gold soul coins, and he is blind enough to buy fierce gods, and stand in line to win? Oscar looked back, and there were 7 ferocious men walking towards him. These 7 men looked like they were in their 30s. Each of them was tall and strong, and they exuded a strong aura. A special kind of murderous aura. This murderous aura is very bloodthirsty, and the leader is very tall and looks like a giant. He showed a look of disdain and said to Oscar, whose little boy are you from? What Oscar dislikes the most is this kind of people, a group of people who look strong, but have little strength. These few people are definitely typical of this kind of people. Their strength is not as good as that of the fierce gods. The fierce gods are now at most level 30, and they are less than 40. They can't even win the battle of the fierce gods. They are at most level 30, and Oscar alone can kill them in seconds. Of course, it would be difficult to just use the sausage martial spirit. Oscar simply didn't bother to talk to anyone. He turned back to the young lady who worked there and asked, I said I want to buy the vicious team to win. Are you deaf and can't hear? Oscar was very annoyed at the young lady at work. Although she was pretty good looking, with a good figure and fair skin, it didn't mean he wouldn't be angry with this kind of beauty. The staff obviously looked down on him. Since she looked down on him, he wouldn't give this person any good looks. When the staff member heard that the child was yelling at her in front of so many people, she felt that her chest was going to explode. She gritted her teeth and said, okay, then please hand over 50,000 gold soul coins. Can you don't say you have one, we don't have loans. What Oscar hated was this kind of dog who looked down on people. He directly took out a large bag of gold soul coins from the little black snake's belt. This bag was very big, and it looked far more than 50,000 gold soul coins. After seeing that Oscar actually took out so many golden soul coins, all the spectators showed surprise expressions, and all of them opened their mouths so wide that they could stuff a big carrot. The corner of Oscar's mouth turned up, and he said disdainfully, I regret it. I don't want to buy gold soul coins now. I want to buy gold soul coins. End of this chapter. Chapter 200. Bailuo and Mengli. The people who watched the excitement were surprised again. Is this still a person? This little kid actually has 100,000 gold soul coins. Isn't this just a walking gold soul coin? This is whose child is so powerful that he has 100,000 gold soul coins with him, and he also has a soul guide. This is definitely not a child of an ordinary family. Compared to their surprise, the staff member who looked down on Oscar just now was so frightened by Oscar that her sitting legs became weak. Since she can work in the Great Spirit Arena, it proves that her working ability is still good. Her vision is higher than others, so she has thought of everything that other people can think of. She knows that she has provoked a hard stubble today. This is a hard steel plate. She already knew with certainty that her job would be lost, but she still wanted her life. This young master is not an ordinary person at first glance. If she is hated, then she will definitely die. Young master, it was my fault just now, and I'll handle it for you right now. Her arrogant appearance just now was really embarrassing, but now she is really beautiful in her cowardly appearance. The efficiency of this staff member is very fast. Compared with the speed of the business she handled before, it is more than 10 times faster. 100,000 gold soul coins are placed quite neatly, but only at the speed of 1 minute. It's done. and she also handed Oscar a card. Of course Oscar knew it was a card for saving money. It seemed that he had to be rich and powerful. The processing speed is different, and he didn't even say a word, and he didn't even sign it. Point of course, Oscar would not think that the staff lied to him. For such a big spirit fighting arena, his 100,000 gold soul coins are just a small splash. Of course, this is just a small splash of betting. If the fierce god wins in the team, then his golden soul coins will become a big wave, and even the big soul fighting field can't bear it easily. Compared with other people's guesses about Oscar's identity, the 7 men who killed the god stood in line were also a little frightened by Oscar's identity, because Oscar was able to take out gold soul coins, so his identity was not something they could afford. But just now he pretended to be coercive. If he backed down at this time, then their reputation of killing gods and standing in line would definitely become stinky, and it would definitely become synonymous with bullying and fearing hard. Who are they? It's the fierce god standing in line. That's a team dedicated to killing people. They will never swallow their anger. So as the captain, Douluo thought of a good way. Since this little kid just used a soul guide, it proves that this little kid is also a soul master. Then as long as he challenges the little kid will definitely be too frightened to take up the challenge, so that they won't lose facing killing gods and standing in line. So he thought of this, walked up behind Oscar and said loudly, "Little kid, you are a soul master. I'm very upset to see you now. Do you dare to compete with me in the soul fighting field?" Although Douluo's words are very shameless, it's not a good strategy for him to make him come to Taiwan. The onlookers had to have a new understanding of Douluo, the leader of the killing god station who only knows how to kill people. Although he looks like a big bastard, his brain is not stupid. He knows who he can mess with and who he can't afford to mess with, but sometimes it's really an act of courting death to save face. It's like everyone now thinks that Oscar will reject Douluo's challenge, but Oscar has not refused yet, and agreeing is quite happy. Oscar turned around and looked at Douluo, who was several heads taller than him, and said with a smile, "Since you want to compete, let's do it. But it's best to compare before you and the fierce team. I'm afraid you will be directly. The fierce god team has been killed." "That's right, Douluo, you'd better compete with this little brother, or you will definitely be killed by us." At this moment, another group of people came over. This group of people is much younger than that of the vicious god team, and this is Mengli and the others of the vicious god team. They have been watching the excitement for a long time, and they have a good impression of the kid who insists on beating them, because only such a person realizes their true strength. Mengli was already thinking that if Douluo wanted to attack Oscar, he would quickly help block it, but the development of the matter was somewhat unexpected. This little kid actually has gold soul coins, and Douluo, who doesn't want billion, actually used the challenge trick, and this little kid actually agreed, which really puzzled him. But since this little kid dared to agree to Douluo's challenge, it means that he has to deal with Douluo's method, and he is also very sure that Douluo will not kill this little kid, because this little kid can easily take out 100,000 gold soul coins. His identity will definitely not be simple. If Douluo kills him, then his end will definitely be miserable. But he was still a little worried about this little brat, so he came out to remind Oscar that Douluo was not easy to deal with. "Mengli, do you want to seek death when you come out now?" Douluo asked Mengli with hatred. Mengli said, Douluo, I'm not afraid of you when others are afraid of you. Who is looking for death? Let's wait and see." He turned his head and reminded Oscar, "Little brother, if you want to compete with this Douluo, you have to think about it. His strength is very strong." Oscar didn't have much affection for Mengli. He was just a passerby, the village head who was directly killed by the Zhuge godly crossbow, a character who didn't even say a word. He just wanted to make more money in this big soul fighting arena, that's all. After all, no one thinks he has too much money. Oscar nodded at Mengli and said, "Thank you for reminding me, but how can I refuse someone who challenges me? Will Douluo fight or not? Give me a good word. I'm still waiting for you to fight, and then I can win money woolen cloth." Seeing that Oscar was so confident, Douluo shouted, "Okay. This is your choice. Don't blame me for bullying you." Oscar knew that villains usually died of talking too much, but Douluo's talking was too frankly confidential. Oscar and Douluo quickly completed the formalities. Of course, Oscar did not reveal his true strength, and the spirit power level he reported was only level, but even so, it still shocked the onlookers. At the age of, he is an 18th level soul master. If it is said that he is not a genius from a big family, who would believe it? Because they were a match decided on the spur of the moment, the big soul arena simply turned on the loudspeaker and began to promote it. The 9-year-old soul master was fighting against the 25th level soul master. The content of this promotion is unbelievable. The betting time this time is only a short 5 minutes. If there is too much, the big soul arena will not accept it, because they are afraid of losing their lives. Do you still have to guess who will win and who will lose? If the Great Soul Arena is always open for betting, then their Great Soul Arena will lose everything. Oscar thought to himself, I've given you a chance to make money, bastards in the Great Soul Arena, but it's not my fault if you didn't seize it. Hehe, the surname is Bay. End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.